All right. Let's welcome back for another edition of the This Week in CBL. You got myself and Ram tonight. Maybe we'll have a couple others join here in a little bit. If anybody in the audience would like to hop on, let us know, and we'll get you on here to give your take on This Week in the CBL. Ram, how you doing tonight?
I'm good. I'm going to look to see if I can get that link going for the invite for guests in case anybody wants to jump in. I'll post that in the Discord along with the link for those of you who are watching along live. I'm always happy to be here, and I will not change my name until UConn loses. So we're going to stick with this for now. So far, good vibes so far on the season. So I got to work with that. I'm a
Yeah,
little
you got a
superstitious when it comes to fantasy ball.
you got a couple of 4-0 guys on the panel tonight. So let's keep it going. My Cardinals are off to a really sluggish start this week, though. We've only got 83 points this week so far. So
Well,
granted, it's
this
two.
this week I think a few good teams were kind of jousted right off the bat. I mean, anyone rostering Garrett Crochet, which is a guaranteed 8 contending teams at this point, started off down almost 100, which is insane to think about considering the fact that he was a Cy Young contender last year, and even though he had bad starts, he didn't have like negative 100 starts.
Yeah.
So this is it's been an interesting year right off the jump because there are some teams that I think someone was talking to me the other day about the top 25, and they're like, "Oh, you guys didn't jump on some of these teams right off the bat." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, because not everyone's performing up to the way that we thought they were, and some people are overperforming." I didn't think 2 weeks ago nobody was discussing Jordan Walker MVP case 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
Nobody was talking about that, and that's carrying some teams alone. Let alone like some of the pitching, like Jose Soriano is a Cy Young candidate and Jordan Walker is an MVP candidate. These are carrying some of these teams, which is great, right? Like I'm happy for that. But again, certain players are very much not performing to what we thought they would be doing.
Yeah, we've got Tony here chiming in saying he's 3-1 and top 20 in scoring as we speak. So the Cal State Fullerton, franchise, they're out there representing. We've got Chuck saying thank you for shaving. I'm not sure which one of us he means, but
No, that's me. Last week when I was on, he told me I needed a razor, and I told him I got a wedding to go to next week. I promised him I'd shave, and I did. So like this is
there we go.
is he keeping up with it, and I appreciate him sticking around. But yes, Chuck, I promised you I'd shave, and I did. All right, then we're good. Much cleaner today, I think.
Looking good out there. Did any matchups stand out to you last week?
Yeah, I mean, we got some high scoring matchups last week. I just hate that I hate the Fantrax doesn't make it easy for me to access them right off the bat. But we saw some teams that last year we kind of had the boon of watching two very dominant teams in Rhode Island and Dallas Baptist go 30-0 in the regular season, and they were challenged at some points in certain weeks, but they went 30-0. Right.
Yeah.
And this year, right off the gate, some people were saying, okay, we might have a few 30-0 contenders right off the bat. But the consensus 1 and 2 seed for a bit going into the season both took a loss in week 2. And that would be North Texas, who had started at number 2, and Illinois State, who also started at number 1 and was getting a lot of votes. And they both got a 1 on their record already. So those matchups are super interesting to me right off the bat because looking at those teams, they could very much take that one loss the rest of the season and still be fine. It's possible they don't lose again, but seeing it early on, I think was a little shocking to some people because there's still a good, I think, 27 4-0s right now after week 2.
Yeah, I'm not sure what my team's going to end up doing because I'm losing to the league average right now. But like I mentioned before, it is just Tuesday, so we got plenty of time. But I'm sure we'll see some of those undefeateds fall off this week as we progress throughout the week.
Yeah, it took us a little time last year for it to really weed out, and so it's definitely a thing where, I mean, oh, and but he's apologizing because he's already changed some of the rank. I believe the top 25 was already updated, which is not a big problem because it's not going to be it's the worst kind of secret right now. You can already see it, and it'll be up later in the show anyway. But yeah, you can see that the voters also reacted to the fact that some of these teams took their first loss, and even though they might have more points than others, they didn't keep their 1 or 2 ranking.
Yeah, and Illinois State had quite the drop this past week, so it'll be interesting to see how they bounce back here in week 3. Jim says I blame Benny. I think that's in reference to the spoilers last week.
I think that's in reference to the reference to, no, well, spoilers now, like the names
Oh,
right
spoilers
now.
now. Yeah.
Yeah, so the names right now have already been updated with the current top 25, but it was funny because last week they weren't updated until after the show, so I think he's just kind of figuring it out, and that's where we're at. But the numbers that are on the teams right now are their current rankings, and we'll get to talking about it, I'm sure. But
Yeah,
it,
I guess like since we're kind of like already kind of broaching the subject, let's go ahead and just debut the top 25 since it's already on Fantrax anyway.
I mean, we can go for
Um,
that. Yeah, let's talk
Go
this
ahead and
one
drop it
through
down
here.
here. We got Penn State at number one, up 6 spots into that number one spot. What's your first thought on this? Looking at this top 25.
It's so. I mean, let's talk about Penn State, right? Because right off the bat, going into this week, they were one of the 4-0 teams. They had a really, really high scoring week that led to them being the top point scorer in the entirety of the CBL up to this point in the season. And so I think for voters, it was kind of the simple decision, right? Penn State, most points, 4 wins so far. Let's give them the credit they deserve. And Cal Poly, of course, got a little jump up. They've been getting a lot of love. If you see here, they got the most first place votes out of our panel this week. They got 4, and we had a few tied at 3 here with Duke and Penn State. But Cal Poly's hot on their tail. Duke is getting a lot of traction. I feel like he might get even more traction if I think some people find him abrasive at times, even though he's being the good guy this year for the most part. But I know that some people hesitate to vote Zook and vote Hawaii, I've heard, because they've had a little fun with the way they've been talking in the Discord. But these the top 5 teams are no surprise to me. The drop for Illinois isn't a surprise to me, but I think they'll bounce right back up. It's a very reactive group of voters that we've always had. And you can imagine that they're not going to give him the number one spot if he takes one loss, right? That's how it is right now. Penn State still got the 0 on the record, so they've got the shine, and they're the big boy on campus right now.
Yeah, I think that I didn't get my votes in this week, and that is always a thing with the our top 25s is sometimes you don't get the consistency in the number of voters from week to week. Just kind of like the fact of the matter of we're also working real jobs and doing real life things from time to time. But I think that if I had gotten mine in there, that I would have kept Illinois State as my number one. I think that one bad week I don't think I would have dropped them yet. It would have kind of been like a wait and see what happens here in the next coming weeks. If they were to, repeat that last week's performance again this week, I probably would have dropped them. But I think Illinois State and Cal Poly would have been my number 1 and 2, with North Texas up there around that number 3 spot for me. That's just kind of where I'm at with that.
Yeah, I understand why we do. I mean, look, it's a week to week top 25, and if you look at it thinking, it is fair to be a little reactive to punish them in my voting too. I'm not going to lie about it because it makes sense if you want to believe that there's a chance that one is going to go 30-0, even if one finishes 21. You got to give credence to the 30-0 guy, right? As long as he stays undefeated, he was number 1 in points. I mean, number 1 in points is something that can't be disputed. Now, granted, there's a lot of injury, bad luck going around. I was talking about it. I mean, look, on my guys alone, Hunter Green and Hunter Brown are already down for a while. I lost Cade Horton for the year. And so was already missing on the pitching side. Brent Rooker, no longer healthy for me, right? I had Hassan Kim start the year on the IL. Royce Lewis is hurt. So a lot of quick injuries to guys that are rostered by 8 teams and out there and affecting probably some of the ways that teams are looking. Andy mentions, of course, here, speaking on behalf of Penn State, I beat the number 2 scoring team last week. I mean, it was a barn burner of a matchup, and his highest scoring led to him being number 1. So I can imagine that gains a lot of respect. He had my number 1 vote this week. I do see, by the way, it looks like Iowa tried to connect. I'm not sure if
It
he's
says it
off.
doesn't have a connection for the mic or cam. You don't have to use your cam if you don't want to Iowa 8, but you do need to have a microphone connected. So
Yeah. You do have to be able to talk. It's a call-in segment which requires either the face or preferably the mic. Royce Lewis is hurting the kid, says you don't say. Yeah, I know. Believe me, is like I acquired. Speaking for myself, I acquired Royce Lewis as my utility hitter because I sat there and thought, okay, he's gonna get hurt, and then I'll get the real studs like Mauricio Dubon to back me up. I don't know why Mauricio Dubon is one of the best scoring players on my team. Iowa, you're good, by the way. When you clicked it, it brings you into our back room, which is perfectly fine. But you do need to have a microphone or a camera like connected and allowed. If you're on a computer, you have to like permit it on your browser. Same thing on your phone. If you do so, it allow us to bring you on as well. You don't have to have the camera. I've had Benny on without a camera as well. Don't feel obligated. I welcome you to, but don't feel obligated. But I can put you on if you get your mic on at least. It'll let me know when. If not, try disconnecting and reconnecting if you had to enable your mic after. All right, cool. I just saw you message received there. But yeah, I mean, now looking back at the top 25 here, I mean, Ash, you're still up there. You're in the top 20, right? So you're a hot start.
I'm not sure that my team's deserving of it, but that's
I
another
think you're good. You got a hot start out the gate. You're 4-0. You should feel good about this, right? You've gotta take some happiness in being on the rankings. This is back-to-back weeks that you're on there.
Yeah, I think that my team is better this year than it was last year. I think I have much better pitching overall. Could use some guys getting off the IL. I thought Grayson Rodriguez, would have. I was hoping he would be healthy when I drafted him in the second round of our draft. So, I'd like to get those points. Yuri Perez had some struggles for me last week, so that wasn't good. Andrew Abbott had a negative outing as well.
Yes,
Sandy wasn't very good
finally
last
had
week
his
either,
bad
so,
one. Yeah, because after he came out gangbusters, he was killing everybody, doing really good. Then he had it. It's the timing of it too. Like just the Abbott and Sandy, I think on the same day were the ones who kind of had their like faded performances. But look, it all week to week, it all kind of fluctuates here because like I mentioned Cade Horton before, and I was so hyped to get Cade Horton because I thought I got a guy on the cheap that was going to be a contributor, and now he's gone for the year.
now he's out.
Right?
Yeah,
and like
I'm burning a year of eligibility.
Right. And so these are things that like there are so many guys out there that you might want to get ahead of the curve and you're like, oh, I'm going to get this guy right now. And then suddenly they get hurt. Pitchers are volatile. You might even get the ace pitcher. I mean, imagine acquiring Garrett Crochet off last week, right? And then you're now in for, you're down -90 off that in a week. You could lose a week off the fact that Garrett Crochet gave you -90. Right, with some of the margins of victory in these matchups, and that's a pain in the ass. You shouldn't be punished for owning Garrett Crochet. So it's tough. I mean, anyone who says there's not a little bit of luck involved is still lying, and that's okay if they want to lie about, but it's the truth, right?
That's where like a lot of folks don't like streaming, but I actually don't mind it because you're taking a real chance anytime you run a pitcher out there with a lead. Because I mean, we saw Garrett Crochet go for like -85. So,
yeah, I mean, yesterday alone, I've had Jordan Romano who had gotten me like 100 points so far, and I think he gave up 43 of them yesterday. He had a -41 or 42 because he blew the save to the Yankees, gave up a couple runs, and it just turned out to be a mess. He put me in the hole, negative almost 45 on the day, wiped out 2 of my starters for the week. And that's the thing, you might be streaming, and I'm okay streaming guys here and there. Like I'll stream a pitcher thinking like right now I'm looking at my own team, right? I got 26 out of Brady Singer, so he finally decided to come out and have a decent performance in pitching 6 quality start, right? And then I got -30 from Sonny Gray. So from the net of Sonny Gray and Brady Singer, I'm -4, and that's where we're at. So it's one of those things where it's just it is what it is, and it's tough. And week to week, it's going to be really difficult. For there's still a lot of guys that are loaded up with star talent. And there's some that are performing out of the gates that weren't ranked. I mean, the Portland Pilots, I think, now jumping up 12 spots. They were in the 20s. They're in the top 10 right now, looking at this, right? East Tennessee State jumped onto the rankings. They were not on the rankings. Mr. Pink South Alabama Jaguars jumping up to the 21st spot. They've made the rankings for the first time. I'm going to say since this league has started. I don't remember him making the top 25 last year. East Tennessee State, I know, has flirted with it before, and I know East Carolina
ranked a good percentage of the year last year, and they were the ACC rep, and they were one of the ACC reps in the national tournament last year as well.
And then there's some interesting movement here. Another Arizona State is now on the top 25. They didn't want to be on the top 25. They specifically mentioned they didn't want to be there. Well, too bad. Suck it. They're on the top 25 now. There's Ed representing Indiana who received some votes this week. I did see across the board, so they could be knocking on the door for the top 25 as well. They had a really good performing week after a lot of trade hubbub. Another team that I think on here that is worth mentioning is the 28 Gonzaga Bulldogs. I mean, they dropped out of the top 25. They were ranked 3 to start the year. So the preseason ranking for Gonzaga was the 3rd best team. And now they're out of the top 25, which means, if I remember correctly, the WCC has no teams in the top 25 right now. They were the closest representative, and yeah, I'm browsing through with my eyes. I'm not perfect, but looks like nothing for the WCC in the top 25.
I do got to say though, sitting there at 4-0 in the WCC is the Northern Colorado Bears. So could you see last year's national champion make the march all the way into the postseason again this year?
I mean, you got to believe they can. Last year, I remember specifically saying at the deadline that they were going all in with their deals, and I respected it because they were making the move for then and now and maybe reducing their longer window to a 1 to 2 year window. But there's still a lot of guys on that squad that were there from last year. And so they contributed, and they're contributing again. So that's good. I see the mention here of Vanderbilt. Vandy dropped from 16 to 25 after a loss to the number 20 in Kentucky is stiff. Well, yeah, I mean, again, voters are kind of fickle in certain ways. Like I won last week, by the way. I went 2-0. Oneonta, I think, also went 2-0, and we dropped 4 and 5 flats exclusively. So I won 2-0 cleanly, and Oneonta won 2-0, and they dropped 5. I dropped 4. And I say that because there's a lot of shiny new toy stuff that comes up when it comes to the voting. Sometimes we see moments of, wow, that team is the new sexy toy of the week. And we had this last year. Some guys started 4-0, 6-0 up the gates, and they were like, why am I not in the top 25? And 6 weeks later, it was, well, that's why you're not on the top 25. It was a flash in the pan. I'm not trying to insult people either. But, you know, it is the nature of the game here. You might have muted yourself there, Ash. Or I can't hear you, so hang on, let me see.
I'm not sure what's going
on. Oh, I got you there. I heard you now. Go again?
Yeah, I was I'm not sure what was going on with my audio. They said it was muffled.
Yeah, I was hearing some muffling from you.
Is it any better now? We're doing this on the fly.
About the same as it was before.
Okay, I'll have to check my
I settings. Can hear you, like I can hear every word you're saying, but I can't, like it sounds like there's a little muffle over what you're saying. That's what I think Chuck was saying before.
Yeah, maybe I bumped something on my soundboard over there, which is off to the side. So I'll have to check that here in a little bit. But
yeah, we can always test around with it in case anything. But no,
yeah,
I can hear you.
What I was saying now.
It's okay. We were talking top 25 for a bit.
Dave, Temple was the one that
yes, Temple. I remember that specific discussion where they started off undefeated, and they were like, "How do you have teams ranked ahead of me that we're undefeated? We're not getting any kind of respect." And then it turned out that they ended up just falling off towards the end of the year. And I'm not saying that to like pick a fight or anything like that. Like Temple's a good team owner. It's just the idea of there is some like method to the madness of here that I firmly believe that a lot of these teams are staffed in a way that they're going to hold out that, you know, and I agree with you, by the way, Chris, that I don't think Vanderbilt should have dropped necessarily 9 spots. The SEC is a tough one too, because Kentucky came out really strong so far, and they're the highest in the SEC. Yes, they are the highest ranked in the SEC in terms of voting right now. Auburn's getting some votes. Again, it's just a fickle thing. But Chuck said, I think, by the way, saying no, that it's not any better. Vandy's pitching blew its week-long lead. It's a tough one. Again, we were talking about some guys that were like, Sandy was super consistent up until this point, and then he just had his worst start. So it happens. It happens.
Yeah, I apologize, guys, for the audio issues. I will have to test that out after we get off to make sure I get it fixed for next time. Have no way of knowing while we're live.
Yeah. I can always like figure it out with you after. We can test it out, but Yeah, I see, Chris saying it was all good. It was a fun week. I mean, look, good. That's the right attitude. Please, thank God, because I have to remind some people sometimes that this is supposed to be fun and it's luck based. It's essentially just our version of gambling and having a little bit of just playful fun with each other. Even the top 25, these discussions. I mean, you see some teams that drop. Maryland dropped out one spot. They lost their spot here. USC is making their way back in. A lot of the guys in the middle kind of sticking around where they were. Minnesota, who was undefeated and getting a lot of love after their first jump. I mean, they've dropped down with 13. So they dropped down 9 spots too. And I think they took the one loss as well. So they also had one of the steeper drops. The 9 spot down for Minnesota, one of the bigger jumps down. I think East Carolina saw the biggest jump. Yes, with 11 down. And I'm figuring Ash is figuring out his tech support over there. LSU says sleeping on LSU. I thought you said you were going to be selling off LSU. So I don't know if that was one of the things that people saw that you said you were going to be retooling and rebuilding. So I don't know if maybe that affected their ability to vote for you there. I see Ash has jumped back in, so maybe it'll sound a
Yeah, I
little
tried
different.
adjusting some of the settings. I don't know if that helped at all, but
A
I have to
little
get up and
clear.
walk around the desk to get to the soundboard. So
You're good. You sound a little clear. It's like a little bit less muffled, but we can
okay.
still hear everything you're saying. So we can hear the words you're saying and everything. So you should be okay.
Um,
But yeah, I was taking a second to console Vanderbilt because I was saying, again, it all isn't good fun, but they didn't have the biggest drop. East Carolina dropped 11 down. I mean, Gonzaga's dropped out of the top 25. Bryan is not even receiving votes, even though they're originally on the top 25 because they're still rebounding from a first 0-2 week in the first week, and people are not necessarily on top of them as they should be, but that could change, right? And I was telling LSU that I did see, he posted that he might be retooling or kind of selling off or looking towards the future, and people might have looked at it that way and said, "Okay, we're not worried about
they
LSU."
went out and got Cole Reagans and Max Fried.
Right. That's not exactly retooling in my end, but
I was happy to see in this top 25, Tulane jumped up to number 16. That owner, he's been one of the longtime active members of the league. Usually was pretty active in the CBL show
mm-hmm.
last year, each Tuesday night. So I like seeing our active guys and participant guys on the show to join in, and achieve success. So that was pretty cool. Seton Hall had a big week last week. So Luke's Pirates jumped up there to number 10. That was another thing that kind of stood out to me.
Yeah, so Delaware beat the number 1 team in 2-0 last week, 3-0, and still dropped. Rather be unknown and not on the list. I mean, it's one of those things where, again, it's just based. Also, think that there was still some confusion. Delaware Blue Hens did receive a vote, at least more than one vote, because they were on there for the receiving. They'll probably make their way up there too. I don't disclose too much about everyone that I voted for or not, but I shuffle around the back end every now and then. There are some teams here that are like a little bit quieter just because they don't post as much in the Discord. Like take for example, number 12 UTSA, right? The Roadrunners are ranked number 12, and nobody really talks about them as much. Ash did mention the Pirates too. I mean, Luke is our podcast partner. He's on the New York Hour with us. He's on here sometimes too. The Excel guy behind what's going on for the top 25 as well. So I'm happy to see this is his first top 10, as you mentioned. It's good for him, right? I mean, it's got to be fun to get that feeling and see all my teams up there. And it's good. No first place votes yet, but we got to keep it going. I'd like to see him keep pushing. That's commissioner of the Big East. So in my heart, I have to root for anybody in the Big East. Only onto that goes for you too. You're a quiet guy, but your team also 4-0 out the gates and scoring a good amount of points.
Well, and speaking of the Red Dragons, that owner, you guys might want to know he's a former NFBC champion. So
yeah, he won the biggest fantasy prize that had ever been given out, right, or something of that nature.
Well, it was one of the early years of the NFBC championship, but yeah, like that's typically kind of one of the bigger prizes out there to win. So if you can win that championship, I mean, you've got some chops in fantasy baseball. So
I
Uh,
think I remember the discussion with him where he said he spent it on gambling and hookers, and I was like, I think I like this guy. I want him in my conference because that's probably that's the way to go. I mean, it's he said he spent it all in a weekend. I think it was like a 5-digit prize, and he said he spent it all in one weekend. And I'm like, this is the type of people I'm competing with in the Big East. Jesus Christ.
that's a
But
fantasy baseball degenerate. I mean, that sounds about right.
I mean, listen, if you're in, I've always said this both playfully and with an ounce of being serious, but if you're in a 128 team fantasy league, right, you've kind of ascended past like normal fantasy play, I think, at this point. Just being in this league and being active in this league says something about whether or not you're a bit of a degenerate when it comes to fantasy baseball. I mean, 128 team league and keeping track of it. We've got a podcast alongside. We have a top 25 ranking. There's a lot here that you won't find in a standard league, and you've got to be a little bit crazy to willingly put yourself up to it. Or you're just like Peter when we talk about this a lot, and the $50 entrance fee is just a subscription fee to the pure entertainment that is the CBL. And honestly, for $50 a year, you could do worse for entertainment, in my opinion. Streaming prices are going up, and I think you get a good bang for your buck in terms of entertainment for entering the CBL.
Absolutely. It's never a dull moment, especially in the chat. Yeah, I see in the top 25, I see North Texas there at number 6, and I was just thinking about JC. We need to get JC back on this week in CBL. Miss seeing him on here and interacting with him, especially when we go through the trade segment. That's always one of the fun topics of the night, especially when we have a full panel. By the way, anybody that's watching, if you're in our Discord, we did drop the link to join us and give your commentary. So if you guys want to hop on the screen here, you don't have to have your camera on. But if you want to hop on and give your your take, you can do it without a camera or with the camera, whatever you prefer. Just hop on and give us your take on this week in the CBL. Would love to have some guest spots here.
I see in the comments. By the way, just to not CBL related, giving up for the great Ed Alex Ovechkin. I believe that this is last game tonight potentially, right? Is that the?
Yeah, I believe so. It's we're winding down the regular season, about to start the greatest postseason in sports, in my opinion, is the NHL playoffs. It's so much fun to watch. So I'm looking forward to the Edmonton Oilers marching all the way to the Stanley Cup once again.
I hope for your sake that they win. I know you get upset when they lose, so I hope for your sake that they do well. I am hoping in that regard because hockey is not my strongest. And what else have we got over here? You got Ed is saying Peter, Luke, and Ram are trying their hard to make me a degenerate. Look, I'll put you through it, man. I'll put you through the ringer. I love fantasy baseball. As long as we know not to take it that seriously and we know it's supposed to be fun. I've had some people tell me like, hey, the league is too much for them. And I'm like, I get what they mean about the personalities, but remember, it's all supposed to be fun, right? And everyone starts somewhere. I talked a lot with Peter about this stuff last year. I mean, Peter coming relatively fresh to this. He's got a competing team and he's pushing forward, and there's some type of thrill in that, and I enjoy that feeling. Oh, Ed, sorry, Ed, this is your first like rundown for this kind of stuff. You jumped into 128 team league and you're competing and you're pushing to compete, so I like that. I commend you for it.
Yeah, trying to compete is always worthwhile, in my opinion. I'll give those people kudos all day long, because we saw teams last year just like fold their tent early. And to me, that sucks.
Yeah, I always encourage people in this league to go for it. I mean, the guys have mentioned it multiple times so far on the weeks here, but the conference tournament is enough. I mean, if you look at it in the fact that we have 8 individual 16-team leagues, right? And you have half of those teams making the playoffs at the end of our playoff system, that's pretty good, right? I mean, you have a 50-50 shot to make it into your conference tournament. You win your conference tournament, you're getting an automatic bid towards the larger national tournament. Play for the conference tournament. I talked about this last year so many times. I mean, we had 2 8 seeds win their conference last year. We had a 6 seed in myself that had to beat the 1, 2, and 3 seeds to win and did so. And it worked, right? And those teams made it into the Natty, and it was really fun and exciting for all of us. Specifically, I loved the hell out of it, right? And I think, don't expect to win, but that's not going to stop you from trying. Look, that's the right attitude, in my opinion. Like, it's okay to just say, like, hey, I'm going to give it a shot, and this is fun. Arthur saying, I joined last fall not knowing what I was getting into, but this is a superb setup. We are so happy to hear that.
What team are you, Arthur Pete?
I need the I wish YouTube would like update again, because like now we have the names like not that they used to. Vandy, of course, going for it too, and I love that. Again, like I encourage everyone to go for it. I don't care if it makes it more competition. Yeah, that's Iowa, by the way. Yeah, and
Okay.
so Duke's saying, here disappointed we are number one, ruining my night. Duke's on vacation, by the way, so he's just lying. He's just straight up lying. Like he's having a great fucking time,
He's
and he's
probably
like,
drunk on a beach
yeah,
somewhere
he's just like,
watching
I'm
this.
having a rough night. I'm not number one. Shut up, Andrew. Go enjoy your vacation. With love, of course. I'm always happy to have Duke around. I always will commend the fact that we have an active guy in the league. But I like that he stopped in, even though Jim Sega can't blame Benny. So and I think the best part is I think Benny actually voted him number one. Benny's not here right now, but I think Benny actually did vote him number one, and was great. But the little infighting and the little drama and the back and forth, as long as it's done playfully, is kind of the backbone of this league. Like I enjoy the trash talk. It's kind of a part of what you're supposed to do in a league like this,
Yeah, it's
right?
supposed to be
You're
fun.
supposed Right, you're supposed to mess with each other, and again, I don't want it to get personal. I don't want situations where some guys are threatening to insult each other's wives, or meeting them halfway to beat them up. Things that we've actually seen in the Best Damn Sports server that I'd like to not repeat. But it's good, it's fun, and there are new faces on the top 25, as I was mentioning. So there's new guys to be in there and trash talk and have fun with, and I expect year over year it's going to be that way, because you take a team like mine. I've been very open about the fact that I'm going upperclassmen heavy, senior heavy, and stuff this year. You're not going to see me on the top 25 next year. You might see me retool, and like my team will compete for the conference tournament, but you're probably not going to see me on the top 25 next year. So someone's going to take that spot. Someone's going to take some of these guys who are packing up the seniors and move in because their prospects have developed or their freshmen have taken a step forward. And that's the good part of this league. That's kind of the way it's supposed to be. We're going to cycle through these couple short windows of contention. Yeah, I contended last year. I'm going to contend again this year, or at least I hope. Right, God forbid.
And I don't know what I'm doing at any given moment, so I'm just out here doing whatever.
But look, you made it. You're ranked, all right, and
Hey, yeah, I got that going for me right now. So
yeah, you're
good. We'll take it.
You're one of the ACC's ranked teams.
Let's check
Duke,
scores.
Duke, of course, is at number 3 is the highest in your conference, and East Texas State is also on the sheet. We've got 3 out of the ACC, right? Yeah, 3 out of the ACC are there. Andrew, I voted for so Chuck, by the way, coming in just saying that he had Duke's back. And Chuck might be on the top 25 by next week for all I know too. The Delaware Blue Hens, coming off an NIT win last year, have added and have made a stronger team. I always like to look at the conference representation here, and I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for the American now. Cal Poly, North Texas, Georgia Southern Eagles, Tulane, and East Carolina are the 5 because Coastal Carolina got bumped out, right? So 5 American are in here, right? And 4 for the big because Maryland got knocked out.
Yeah.
Yes. So that Penn State, Illinois, Indiana State, and Minnesota. And
I think you may see that Portland State team moving into the top 25 soon. I mean, they were one of the top 5 scoring teams last week. Well managed. JT is one of the best managers I know. So I think that team's going to sneak into this top 25 very soon.
I gave them a vote. Just a UConn 2027 NIT champ. I'll do it to make the money back. Don't test me. I will next year. I have no problem fighting for it. But
2027.
Yeah, I did. I voted for.
Will we have a 2027? That's the question.
Oh God, I hope we do. I hope they figure out this lockout bullshit because I know what everyone's thinking about, and that's a whole nother. I would hate to think that we're going to get locked out, but it also seems like increasingly likely, right? And it's God help me, but let's see. What am I? The pack. I think you weren't here for me to talk about this, Ash, but I was saying that in the first week, so if you do the math, right, technically each team has 8. Each conference, if you're in interconference play, you have 8 guaranteed wins, and then you can have another 8 if you all beat the league average, right? And the pack coming out of the first week had, I think, 15 wins. So 7 out of their 8 teams that won also beat the league average. Only one of them didn't. And last week, they, as a conference, had the most scored points as a total. So the Pac-12 is a pain in the ass to be in. And I say that with love, but it's just
It
the
was a
idea
good
of
conference last year.
right. And that's what I'm saying. Like the pack, I mean, right now, Hawaii's at the top in the rankings. It's commissioned and led in a way by Chris and Cal. And he's a great owner and a great person. But you see right there, they've got 4 teams on here too. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Hawaii, Portland, Cal, and Arizona. Again, they're the top scoring conference in the entire week last week. And the first week they had the most balanced. I think that gets very underrated because we see the big teams like the Penn State, and this is not to say the big isn't a challenge. The big is an outstanding conference this year, right? Like I want to be clear, but that balance is what makes it such a pain in the ass because if you have a 7 seed that's kind of close to your 2 seed, then your conference tournament is full on war compared to some places where the 1 seeds are jumping into the conference tournament and they're going to have a cakewalk for their 8 seed later on. So I keep an eye on that pack because I think that they're going to be the guys that come out of the pack. I think no matter what seeding they come out of early on, it looks like they're going to be a pain in the ass to deal with because you have some teams on there like the other Huskies that were ranked before. They're not ranked right now, but they're still scoring points. The pack is going to be a trouble for some people, and still having 4 ranked teams is always impressive when we have 8 conferences and only 25 spots.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I believe they were in their conference tournament. I believe their 7 seed made their conference championship game. I can't remember if they moved on and won that game or not. But then they had within with the entering the last week of the season, I want to say they had like 13 teams that were within 1 game of making their conference tournament. I mean, it was ridiculous how deep that conference was.
Yeah, and it continues to be that way. And I don't mean to, I mean, and it's not to knock on other stuff. Like Gonzaga out of the WCC was considered the best team. Portland State is leading it right now. And again, I voted for them. Northern Colorado is also 4-0. They're the former champions. We talked about that in the WCC, right? But if I just pop over to the pack real quick, I mean, I'm just glancing. Hawaii, Portland, Cal, 4-0. Arizona, 4-0. The San Diego State Aztecs, also 4-0. And so you got 5 4-0 teams. And then your next 3 seeds, the 6 Arizona's 3-1, USC 3-1, Utah Utes 3-1, and the Washington State, Stanford, and Benny's Arizona Beavers are all 2-2. I ain't pronouncing them right. I don't know how to say any of these things.
Utes.
Is it just like saying youths, but they think they're special? Like,
no,
is there a Y there?
No, there's no Y. It's just the Utes.
It could be the Utes. It looks like Utes. I don't even.
Andrew Bogut.
I remember he played for Milwaukee actually. But the Utes.
Yeah, the
Utes. Just sounds like I'm saying like Southern slang. I don't know if I can do this. I'll try to. Well, Utah's team over at the 8th seed over there, but I hate it because in that we got rid of some of the ones that I can't pronounce, and now we got other ones that are just gonna make me look dumb. I love it.
Yeah, no more Creighton.
No, we have. Well, don't we have Creighton? We have Creighton. I just don't have to talk about them.
Well, yeah, they're not ranked this year. Last year they were ranked quite a bit.
So yeah, now they're just the Blue Jays at the bottom of the Big East.
And I'm just giving you shit now because I remember the ones.
Oh, absolutely, I have all fun with it. Like I told you going into this year, if we were gonna spin a wheel and make me talk about the colleges, I'd be fully.
He does not, Chris.
I don't watch college sports. Yeah, like I think I forget you're new to this, but I actually don't watch college sports. Like I will. I have a lot of general knowledge about sports. Like I can talk about a lot of things, but I'm very open about the fact that because I went to a state school over here, and I've dated people who went to big schools, and I've been around to these type of stuff. I've got a master's from up like in Boston and stuff, but like I was not part of the college sports atmosphere. And I'm being in New York, like, and this is not a weird flex type of thing. It's just you're part of sports here in New York, but like we didn't have like in this area of where I live in New York, we weren't like a college town. We were just the Mets and the Yankees or the Knicks, right? And so you identify with the Knicks and like the Giants and Jets or the Yankees or Mets, and you just kind of roll with that. And so you know that. So, but the college teams, I mean, we were cities say, hey, college sports. I mean, I talk about the fact I love UConn. I dated someone from UConn. I spent a lot of time there. I watched them win a natty. So I love UConn basketball. And the Johnnies are here.
You're a resident St. John's fan. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I mean, the Johnnies are 5-10 minutes from my house. And I love when the Johnnies do good because everyone in this area gets hyped. And again, like I can go see the games if I want to. The Johnnies are right there. And so I love that too. So I'm always like, I'm active in those regards. And I watch college football because I got to see the guys that are being drafted because I'm in dynasty football leagues and I have to figure things out. Like last year, I was going off about Harold Fannin Jr. for like half a year, and then he became good, and I was like, I got him in 3 leagues. We're good. So it
Maybe
works.
I'll come up
But
next year. We'll go to a St. John's game. That's what it'll be.
I'll go. I'll happily go to that because like basketball is basketball. I'll get hyped over it no matter what. And like, when they play big games, like when the Giants played UConn and MSG, like I sat down and watched it.
Wow.
Right, but I'll sit down and I'll go to a bar and watch that on a Friday night because like there's very loud support for that. I love that. Right. I'm like, I'll jump into that environment. College
Maybe
sports
the best college basketball coach of all time. Come on.
Yeah, it's cool. I like that the top 25 for the most part are words that I can pronounce. Right. Like I haven't said
that you can pronounce.
I haven't read number 7 in full without screwing it up. I did lead a sheltered life. I think I've talked about it. I grew up poor and sheltered. I don't even like I can't the Fighting Illini. Like, how do I pronounce that?
Illini.
Illini?
Yes.
Legitimately, you're not screwing with me?
No, I'm not screwing with you.
So, like the Illinois Fighting Illini.
Yeah.
That doesn't even sound like this. Is what I mean, these are not words where I come from.
I gotta disagree with you, Stu.
LSU, baby.
When it comes to college baseball, there is no environment like Swayze Field. Swayze is my favorite. Hotty toddy till I die, man. I love Swayze.
I will go down to an LSU baseball. So I think I've talked. I don't think you know this about me. CS Hamilton there. I'm a Saints fan. I like LSU. I love that being down there. So like I'm very partial to LSU stuff. I'd watch an LSU baseball game. I'd be down for it. And I mean, hell, to be honest, just because I like baseball, I love minor league baseball. So I can't imagine that if you took me to college ball that I'd be like, oh, I don't like college baseball. I love it. Baseball is baseball, So like fullness. But I have talked about this. I am partial to thought it was pronounced Illinois with your East Coast bias. That looked like Baylor Mike over there. But I'm partial to teams that have names of things that I can pronounce or recognize that are real. Like,
yeah, you like to be able to say it.
Yeah, because I didn't give Tulane credit because like a green wave doesn't even sound like a fucking thing. So like what did you do? Like put seaweed in the water? Like, oh great, congratulations, you put a whole bunch of seaweed in the water.
Well, what's a blue hen?
That's what I like.
That exists.
I mean, we made fun of them last year, but they called themselves the Blue Cox, and I was like, all right, cool, you beat Chris. That was really funny. So you kind of like, Vanderbilt. Like, I felt bad for them dropping out, but like a Commodore sounds like you're just trying to be like better than me. Like you feel like you're fancier than I. So
yeah, I think I like Pirates better.
Pirates are cool, outside of like the murders and killing. I like Pirates. I respect that. Like most of the top 25 I can pronounce. And they're not like terribly offensive or confusing. I mean, I made fun of North Texas too because like the mean green just sounds like lazy to me too. Where it's like I'm not afraid of the color green. Like if anything, like the color red has been intimidating. I've related to the idea that like red is a fighting color. So
I'm not sure which.
I assume he's talking about Vanderbilt because that's Vandy's owner. So
yeah.
I'm assuming so, which might make it worse, by the way. If it's like named after like, unless it was like a really, really honorable, amazing guy, and in which case, like, good for him, right? But some of these are just funny.
Well, was one of the Vanderbilts, the Vanderbilt family, was one of them a Commodore?
Is that what it is? Like, is this going to be like my learning
title?
Let me see. Vanderbilt. So Cornelius Vanderbilt was nicknamed the Commodore, and he was an American business magnate who ran the railroads.
Okay.
Yeah, but like, could he hit a fucking curveball? I doubt it.
Probably not. He'd had trouble with the curve.
I'm pretty sure. Listen, if Jesus Christ can hit a curveball, Cornelius Vanderbilt ain't going, 1-for-1 against it. So yeah, I just looked it up, and listen, if he can hit a curveball, you get back to me. But otherwise, I mean. Like, listen, these are baseball teams, right? We're not naming them. Like, if there was like the Vanderbilt Babe Ruths or something, I'd be like, you know what? I got to give it to you, right? Like some kind of like thing like that. Like those are baseball guys. Like he ran railroads. I don't know if that inspires me to think good baseball team because like he laid some tracks. I don't know. I mean, granted, it's just, I like whimsy. I'm one of those people that likes like really dumb minor league team names, but I also like to be able to pronounce them too. There are blue hens.
Says there are blue hens. Okay.
I believe that. Apparently, they reside in Delaware. So I'm
apparently.
I'm gonna Google that.
I didn't know anybody resided in Delaware, but
Delaware Blue Hens. The Delaware Fighting Blue Hens came up, by the way. It automatically corrected me, and University of Delaware has I think a little website here. Why Blue Hens? Separating fact from fiction about their unconventional mascot name, unique mascots. Apparently. It is a kind of chicken. It includes both males and females. So there are blue cocks, blue roosters, and blue hens.
I thought a hen
And
was a female.
yeah, there's a fact and fiction here thing, and it says people tend to assume that a blue hen is a female, understandably given that the top dictionary definition of hen is a female bird. But in fact, the name blue hen refers to a different kind of chicken. It includes both males and females, and UD, the mascot on the sidelines, is gender neutral, as is their
Yeah, so don't
sibling
assume
baby
for gender,
blue. I did not know that. I love
Joe Flacco, yeah, he played at Delaware. He started at Pitt, though.
Joe Flacco is a good man. Chris is telling me, by the way, that Mr. C smashes curveball. So I'll take it. Listen, if he can hit home run off a curveball, I'll give it to him. I can give him the name of the team. Penn State is from Delaware. I forgot that.
All over each other here.
Got
Chuck says Lionel Richie is from Delaware. I'm not sure that I would have told people that.
I didn't know that the Blue Hens had a gender neutral mascot. I feel like that's a little progressive for this league. I'm actually surprised. Yeah. Like now I feel like I'm almost making fun. Like I'm about it, but I think it's funny for me to be like, hey, these are gender neutral hens. So the Delaware Blue Hens are not feminine. It's actually like a they thing. And
that's a pretty good one here.
The Mac is Marley. I like that. There's the whoopie pies and stuff, like weird stuff. I mean, I have a ton of weird minor league baseball stuff. I mean, I also like City Connect stuff. You can see this is the Chicago White Sox City Connect, and like I like weird stuff, even if it's not like a. So I like you got the hen, the chicken, and the rooster. The rooster goes with the chicken. Who's having sex with the hen? I'm gonna say on a limb here.
I'm not gonna touch that one.
I'm gonna say it's Chuck. Because, I mean, he's creating – every time Chuck gets an acquisition to his team, he's technically creating more blue hens. So, I waited Garth went to tell her once. I don't even want to –
second time that Wayne's World has come up in conversation in 2 days with me. So
I love it. I'm actually I'm not reading it. I'm not doing it because I'm hurt with it, but – I like weird names, man. I'll take it. I'll take anything. There was a fake one last year, I think, from Baltimore, where they were like making like the pearls or something, and the pearl logo looked and everyone was like, it just looked like a vagina. And I'm like, this is outstanding, man. Like
it was Chesapeake something.
Yeah, it was like I think the Chesapeake like clam or like bay something, but it was exactly that. Like, and it was really funny, and I wanted that. I gotta add it to because I have the trash pandas. I have the Space Cowboys, as well. Like I've got those type of things. Lionel Richie was a comment about a Commodore. Was Lionel Richie a Commodore? Was he a Vanderbilt Commodore?
No idea.
Did Lionel
I'm not versed in my Lionel Richie trivia. So
all right, now I gotta actually. This is now one of the. I mean, he was part of the Commodores, but like he wasn't part of like the Vanderbilt Commodores. Like I could give you that, but
Flying Sandals. Oh, that's the San Antonio.
I didn't go to. Did he go to college? I just see that he's from Tuskegee, Alabama. But the Flying Sandals. But yeah, Lionel Richie
or something is what they're actually called.
God help me. But I'm actually okay. I was really willing to do like that random, like I want to spin the wheel and like look at one of these random colleges and have to learn something about identify as a blue hat so he gets it.
We should have a new segment each week where Ram learns something about one of the schools in our league.
I will spin a wheel because like Luke has the teams listed out. I'll put them on a wheel and spin and get a number and just like learn something about college, and then it'll force me to pronounce it because I know with my luck it's not going to give me like the Kentucky Wildcats. It's going to give me the fighting. What is it? Illini? You said the Illini? Illini. There's just too many like dots above the eyes. I feel like I'm looking at some kind of like another language.
There's only 2 dots above eyes.
But like on my screen, I'm seeing a lot. It's giving me like a conniption and a headache. I just see too many because like it's just look Illinois or Illinois or however everyone wants to pronounce it, right? It's just I's and L's, right? And my eyes are doing this thing where like I'm looking at the screen real close right now, and Illinois just looks like 4 lowercase i's to me. I just see like INOIS, and I just see the dots when there aren't any. And so I feel like I'm being toyed with. I'm just seeing a whole bunch of I's. So I feel like if you just gave me like one lowercase I, I'm like, that's what it is. Each eye goes. I'm aware of the fact that the Commodores were a Motown band. I just want to be a jackass about whether he went to Vanderbilt or not. I actually love Motown music for what it's worth. Bearded Clams is hilarious, by the way. But no, I'm willing to learn about any of these schools, and I'll like do a little segment. I'm more than happy to spin a wheel and learn, especially if it's like something that'd be kind of fun. Like I'd like to know about. I'm making jokes about it, right? But all these schools have lore. Like there are reasons that they've named their right, and I like that because I think it's fun. I mean, outside of like naming your team like the Illini or whatever, that just sounds like dumb. But I don't like if the UConn team was named the Connecticutians, I would not have them as my team. I think that's ridiculous. Like I'm not exactly like the Huskies are cool, but like it's if they were named the Connecticutians or something, I'd probably be mad at them. You know, like it's not. I had to learn what a Nittany lion was too because I'm like, yeah, these are not words I was raised using, so I had to learn for the sake of the podcast.
Well, and then
which is fun.
Like we shouldn't be able to call them Penn State. We should actually make him spell it out like Pennsylvania State.
They call themselves Penn State, right? I mean, like it's sort of like
the being a smart ass.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
like the University of Mississippi would just be Ole Miss.
The best part is that like some of these don't like Minnesota's team doesn't even fit. East Tennessee State, which is already abbreviated, doesn't fit. Right, like we've already got some stuff that doesn't fit in the graphic. So I think Coastal Carolina doesn't even fit either. Yeah, they're in the corner. You can see that's cut off too.
The Chanticleers.
So, yeah, I don't even know what that is. I'm not trying. I'm not, and I can see the logo, but like that's not even a like. There's no way. I'm from New York, man. You're not. A Chanticleer is not a thing. You made that shit up. This is not.
We gotta look it up. Look up what a Chanticleer is.
You know what? I will. This will be my last part. This will be my learning segment for the day of what the Coastal Carolina. Is it a? It looks like a fucking bird. What is this?
I gotta admit, I actually don't know what a Chanticleer is either. I
just have always known it because it's not a thing. A Chanticleer was the name of a rooster featured in The Nun's Priest Tale, a portion of Chaucer's The Canterbury Tales. And in Nun's Priest Tale, Chanticleer has a dream that is going to be caught and killed by a fox. Why would you name a fucking team after that? Like, like this is like I don't
think you should forfeit all your games if you're called the Chanticleers.
This is what a proud, witty rooster, a fighting rooster. I mean, like, I'm starting off with Coastal Carolina. You know, listen, we had Gamecocks. I think we still have Gamecocks, right? But like Gamecocks,
and their football field is teal.
I don't even like. What is a? I'm literally just gonna. What is Coastal Carolina? Like, are they? I assume they're like. Okay, it's South Carolina, right? Yeah. So Coastal Carolina is Conway, South Carolina. So the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers or Chanticleers?
I thought it was Chanticleers, but
it looks like it's pronounced Chanticleers. I guess it sounds fancy enough to be pronounced Chanticleer.
Either way, it's a dumb name.
Yeah, the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers, all the athletic teams that represent Coastal Carolina University. All right, so they're fancy enough, I guess. Like I don't know. It's a fancy way to say Gamecock. Yeah, I can't even pronounce it in like regular English. I feel like I just have to read it with my accent and just go, yes, they represent Coastal Carolina University. They are Division I of the NCAA as a member of the Sun Belt Conference in most sports. And they've joined that conference as a full but non-football member on July 1st, 2016. I don't even know. Like, I've never even... Their rival is Liberty University.
Jim, you're wrong. Long Beach State, not Long Island.
Long Island Dirtbags. Actually, no.
It's Long Beach
that's
State.
correct because Trevor Bauer plays for the Long Island Ducks now, so we've been calling them the Long Island Dirtbags. So that's actually correct. They are the Long Island Dirtbags.
That's not a school.
I mean, they're a team. They're a team. Another cock team. But another cock team. He's right. Apparently, their rival is Liberty University. So, like, is the rival of like a cock like a vagina? Like, what are they? Oh, they're the Liberty Flames and the Lady Flames. Okay, I guess that, and they're from Lynchburg, Virginia. I did not know that they were also a thing. So, okay, here we go.
Is USF? They're the Bulls. Is their women's teams also called the Bulls? Because that's kind of weird.
That is kind of funny. You are now contractually obligated to use that voice every time you talk about Coastal Carolina. Well, for my fucking sake, I hope the Coastal Carolina doesn't hit the top 25 again. Is there a link
Yeah,
to jump
in
on?
our
It's
Discord,
in the
Ryan
Discord,
posted the
yes.
link.
If you check Vandy, if you check the Discord, I posted a StreamYard link. If you jump on, you're free to jump on with us. I'll gladly put you on. My kid just got a letter from the baseball program at
They must be
Coastal.
pretty good because they're actually really good.
I mean, I'm glad. That's actually awesome. But now I'm like, I feel bad that I'm making fun of your kid. But tell them that I couldn't say Chanticleer correctly, so whatever the friggin'. But here we go. Until the early 1960s, coastal teams were known as the Trojans. When the school became an extension of the University of South Carolina, the push was made for a mascot more in line with the parent mascot, the Gamecock. The ultimate choice was the Chanticleer, the proud, witty rooster made famous in the Nuns pre of Chaucer's The Canterbury Tales. The mascot is named Zachary. When interpending 93, despite calls to change the mascot as part of a split from USC, the Chanticleer remained. So now they have in-state rivals with Charleston Southern, the College of Charleston, and Winthrop. That's hilarious to me that they basically decided that they wanted to be Gamecocks, and then when they split from it, they went ahead and they were like, "Yeah, we're still gonna be Gamecocks. We need to really represent what we came from, which was the game. We were the spawn of Gamecocks, so Cox we will remain." That's essentially what they said. I don't even know this is a thing. So they're Division One FBS now.
In football, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, baseball, there is
yeah,
no subdivisions.
yeah.
I mean, they won the national championship in like, I don't know, like 2019, something in that time frame. I'm not saying specifically 2019, but sometime in the 20 teens, they won the national championship. Tommy LaStella, famous Chanticleer, Kurt Manwaring, Caden Bodine, Anthony Veneziano, among many others.
Yeah, I'm on their wiki and I'm looking for any names that I might recognize. And their men's basketball team does have a. Let me see. Do we have a famous like alumni thing? Coaching staff, anything like? Do we not have an alumni section? Sunbelt Conference. Tony Duncan, a former Chanticleer, is the only men's basketball player in NCAA Division I to be named Conference Player of the Year all four seasons he played. They've been in the NCAA tournament most recently in 2015, 4 times overall. Okay. I mean, good for their teal, bronze, and black existence. I am happy for them. Peter's not here to be upset about that, but he will be very upset about the Cock Cup surpassing the Banana Cup. He got very
We definitely need to get that rivalry going though between
That's really
Coastal
funny,
Carolina and South Carolina.
That's very funny that they were the Trojans before and now they're just the Cocks. I actually respect that. That's a good joke. These are not getting lost on me, but I still I don't really understand what a Chanticleer is, and I feel like I do have to read it with the accent whenever I read the team because like it doesn't feel like I'm giving them the proper appreciation of. I guess they have a good volleyball team, so good for them. Yeah.
I think they're, I think it's a coastal. I think it literally is on the coast. Like the campus, I think is right on the coast.
Yeah, well, Conway, South Carolina. I mean, Conway looks nice. It's home to the Myrtle Beach metro area. So yeah, I mean, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna start doing this every week now. I'm gonna like spin a wheel and I'm gonna find a team and I'm gonna do some research. Why is South Alabama in the top 25? That team is overperforming and will pumpkin soon. I mean, it's actually because the Illinois State Redbirds went ahead and kind of just fought for you. They went ahead and they were like, South Alabama's getting no love. And then last week on the podcast, I specifically said South Alabama's getting no love. And I think people looked at it and said, you know what, they're right. South Alabama's not getting any love. And now you're in the top 25, so suck it, dude. I'm actually glad you're here. Good for you. First top 25 appearance for your team. Best part about this, by the way, is that you're too drunk to spell South right. So I'm proud of you.
I know.
I can't pronounce things and you can't spell, but good for you. Come on, boy. Spell South right. That's right. That is the right exact. That's right. That's the energy that we need. So good for you and your Youth Alabama Jaguars down there, my friend. But that's what he said. That's what he
did. I know.
You know, I read it the way I see it, all right? Like I got the not drunk fat fingers over here. So good on you and the Youth Alabama Jaguars. Yeah, I'm okay with it. It's Twitter fingers. He's excited to be out here, and we're getting a lot of activity tonight. I feel like when we bullshit, we get more activity, which is the worst of it. Like if we try to take this legitimately, and I'm like, here's the top 25, nothing, right? I sit there and I'm like, I don't know what the fucking Island Eye is, and they're like, yeah, this is great. This is the content they sign up for. I was like, trade me Cattell pick. I think I remember. I think it was like 3 weeks in last year when they were negotiating a trade like mid show,
In
and I got
midstream, I remember this.
yeah, and I got like the Discord notification to the side, and I was like, "You fucks! You're not commenting on the show, but you're negotiating the trade on the side." And they're like, "Hey, you can talk about it." I'm like, "No, we don't have a graphic ready. We have trade graphics for tonight too. We might as well talk about a few of them since Andy put them in." And this is all going off the rails anyway, so I'm
Yeah,
okay
and
with
I
it.
didn't look at who was involved in these trades. Andy, the Penn State owner, created the graphics for us this week, and I purposely tried not to look and see which one had which players involved, so that way we kind of be I can't talk. Surprised on air.
Oh, I'm in. We can do that. Let's you brought up a few, right? I know that he gave us a
Yeah.
few to talk about, so we can talk about that since we brought up the top 25 enough, and I've done my college educational segment of the evening, and I'm going to try to do it again every week because I mean, there's not enough weeks in the season to cover the entirety of the teams in here, so I'm okay with learning and trying to pronounce shit.
Yeah, maybe on these the teams involved we'll try to throw a trivia or something if we got one. So here we go.
Yeah, if you got
We'll
one, I
start
don't
us
know
off
shit
with
about these.
let me get rid of the graphic there.
All right, so Collegiate Baseball League, Benny's Oregon State Beavers. I thought he traded Cade and Andres Munoz. I might be wrong about this, but if I remember correctly,
Oh, is it backwards?
I think he sent Cade
Usually I'm the
and
one that makes the mistakes on the graphics.
apparently nobody who makes the graphics can get the trades right, which I think is hilarious. I that might be a running joke here that nobody can get the graphics right. That they look fine, but like the information's wrong. But I'm 90% sure that this was the opposite because I
Yeah, I left
remember
off an entire player last time, so
I think because if I remember correctly, I was talking to Benny about this deal, and he was trying to consolidate his relievers into one better reliever.
yeah, Benny got Mason Miller.
Yeah,
He gave away Cade Smith and
yeah,
Andres
because
Munoz.
he
This
was
is
trying to
backwards.
consolidate his relievers because we talked about this because he was like, I have too many relievers, and I was like, go out there and consolidate your fucking relievers then, and that's what he did. And I was like, wait, he didn't receive them here, but yeah, he got Mason Miller in here, and I liked this deal because for the sake of the context of his team, he had like 9 relievers. And the best thing for him to do roster wise was to combine 2 of these older relievers, like Junior Cade Smith and a sophomore he knows, to Mason Miller, who is arguably performing as the best closer in the entirety of the MLB. So I like it. I mean, these are these guys going to be any of the three. Not you shouldn't be redshirt reliever. Please don't fucking redshirt a reliever, any of you. But
Well, unless it's your only senior, then I'd be okay with it.
yeah, but you shouldn't have that as your only senior. Teams like mine that you could be like, I'll give you 25 fab to take a senior off you, and you'll be so. But I like this deal on either end. I mean, Pitt's not losing any value by getting 2 closers on multiple years of contract. And he's getting Mason Miller. So I actually like this deal for both sides. I think the value is pretty fair, and it's a good deal. It works out for both people. I agree with this completely. Game changers, if used properly and discarded as needed. I agree. I stream relievers a lot too. People ever look at my team, sometimes they're like, hey, it's not that strong on paper, but the points will rack up if you rotate and you stream them. But any case here, I think this is a fair deal on both sides. I don't know about what you think, Ash.
Yeah, I like it both ways. Mason Miller I like the best, so I like what Benny's getting here.
He's the best player in the deal, so it works out. But yeah,
He's got a great entrance.
I hope the rest are accurate, and maybe it's just this one that's screwed up because I wouldn't be able to tell you if they're right or wrong off the top of my head.
Yeah, I hope. We'll double check the next one. Here, we're going to do another. Since I've got Benny's roster pulled up, there's another one including Benny's team. Let's see. Is this one right?
LSU's here. LSU, can you tell me if this is right? Because I think this is right. If I remember correctly, LSU traded off Vlad and Wood.
No,
and
this is
Chapman.
backwards.
You sure?
I think. Well, I mean, he has Jared Jones, so maybe he traded.
No,
for
I
Jared
think
Jones
this one's
again.
right. No, they
Yeah, it
both have
is
Jared
Bryce,
Jones. It's a
but
contract
he
swap.
has
I'm
he
pretty
he
sure
went
this
out
one's
and got
correct.
Jared Jones again. So
Yeah. They had a contract swap of Jared Jones here, but I
oh,
remember
I
this.
see on both sides there.
Yeah. There is a contract swap for Jones, and he got years of Roman Anthony and Luzardo for, I mean, basically Wood and Guerrero. And I think that's pretty awesome because, I mean, Chapman aside, I mean, I like it because Chapman was really
Why would you
dominant
want a
last
freshman
year.
Chapman?
He was probably a senior last year that got dropped into the pool and got
Right,
moved
but I'm
around.
saying like it doesn't matter if Chapman's a freshman or a senior because
Yeah,
like
it's essentially like you might get 2 years out of him max essentially, but
yeah,
he's a good in terms of throw-ins, I think he's a really good throw-in. He gives up an extra year of Jared Jones, does Benny, and he gives up the years of Anthony and Luzardo for more proven contributors in Guerrero and Wood. So I like it, actually. I think it works
yeah, I
out
like
good for
both
him.
sides here. I prefer getting Vlad and Wood, but
Yeah, I mean, if you really like Jared Jones, the extra year could be a game changer in that deal. I think it obviously I'm on the competing side. I generally think you want the best players in the deal. So I like the Vlad side. I like what Benny's getting back. But Roman Anthony was supposed to be the second coming of God, right? And it's also giving extra years to LSU. LSU, of course, is saying here too, it fits my team better. Yeah, I mean, look, the years are good. And these are guys with upside. Luzardo is a very strong pitcher. And I think that Roman Anthony is a guy that you're trading him for him based on his upside in exchange for Wood and Guerrero. I respect it. I don't really feel like anyone got robbed here, and that's why I like it. I do see that Mr. Pink is essentially saying the same thing. I think it's solid for both sides. I would agree. You know, I'll take Benny's side, but it's not like it's one of those things where I question what you're doing. I think it makes sense. You're extending your window and taking the upside because if Roman Anthony starts a little bit more like what Roman Anthony used to be, then that's great. You worked out pretty good in that deal.
yeah, I mean I think that's pretty sound logic there. And then Stu mentioning that the sophomores fit better, that makes a lot of sense too. Coming off a year where he was pretty senior heavy last year, so
Mm-hmm.
kind of retooling for this year and next year on that LSU squad. Let's see. Let's skip to the next one here. We've got Arizona State and North Texas, two powerhouse teams making trades, which I like to see. You don't see that a lot in real baseball anymore. It seems like the competing teams are never trading amongst each other anymore.
No, I
Um,
agree.
Strength from strength, that kind of and that kind of thing. But Arizona State getting Bryce Harper and Edward Cabrera, um, who might get hurt tomorrow. Who knows? North Texas receiving Nick Kurtz and Logan Gilbert. I kind of like the North Texas side of this one because I like I think a sophomore Kurtz is going to be very helpful. Bryce Harper, you never know what's going to happen with him injury wise. Same thing with Cabrera. I have no faith that he's going to stay healthy for any length of time. And then you got Logan Gilbert. So I like what North Texas did here.
Yeah, I think this is a clear North Texas one for me. If I split it up either way, I mean, Freshman Cabrera and Logan Gilbert, I mean, yes, you're getting more years out of Cabrera, but to me, I still think he's very unproven. I enjoy him. I think he's got some upside, but Logan Gilbert is a pretty steady reliever. I'm sorry, steady pitcher, and he's really solid
Yeah.
at what he does. I feel like he's got a good, clean bill of health, too. So I generally feel all right about Logan Gilbert. I could understand maybe saying the years on the Cabrera edges it out a little, but I feel like a sophomore Nick Kurtz beats a junior Bryce Harper by far. You know, both in the extra year and the fact that I think Nick Kurtz has some of the best upside in the world. I mean, this could be the second coming of Jim Thome and that type of level of hitting here for a while. Even though he hasn't started the year super hot on paper, his metrics are still really strong. He's still hitting the ball harder than some of the people in the league. I think he's like second in the league in average exit velocity, which bodes well for the fact that he plays in a bandbox of a home ballpark right now. And I think he'll adjust fine. He adjusted really well last year. And if he gets on a hot streak, everyone's going to forget that he started cold. So I'm taking the UNT return here, clearly.
Yeah, so it sounds like we're both on the UNT side. Stu says that he loves the UNT return as well. So pretty consensus there. Let's switch to our next trade here involving Portland State and Duke. Two competing teams again. Robbie Ray going to Portland State and Schwarber to Duke. I'm going to go Robbie Ray just because you can never have enough pitching, and I like JT more than I like Andrew. So
That's hilarious. I also like JT a lot, but for me, I'm not a Robbie Ray guy. I think this is easily. I like Kyle Schwarber here. I mean, I talk a lot about this league last year and the idea of power and suppressing power, right? And you're getting a guy who can still give you 40 home runs and give you three. Kyle Schwarber was a week winner in certain weeks last year. Like he would come in on a random day and hit 3-4
Yeah,
home
but he
runs.
was a weak killer a lot too.
I know, but I liked it, man. I think this is a guy that you can just set and forget at utility, and he still has enough power to kind of define, especially with the fact that we don't have that strikeout penalty this year. I feel like he's less of a weak killer this year, and he's just kind of be there. And then if he gets hot, he's going to win you some weeks. So for me, I will absolutely. I'm taking the Schwarber on this side, but I don't think it's a bad deal on either side. But I like what Duke did here.
I also hate players that strike out 250 times a year. I mean, to me, that's boring baseball. So
Right.
get Schwarber out of the league, please. I can't stand that. It's not fun.
Yeah, it was so weird to me. Like, it wasn't last year because last year he had a pretty solid offensive year, but there were some years where he was batting like 198, and it was so weird to me. I don't know if I have it pulled up, but his power numbers are elite. But like, Jesus Christ, I think he was batting like 198 with like 40 home runs, and I just
I
remember
think it was
growing up.
worse than that.
Yeah, like a one, I could probably find it, but yeah. So like in 2023, he hit 47 home runs, but he was batting 197. And like, I get it. You hit 47 home runs. That is still amazing, right? Like the power is elite, but it's just, I grew up sitting there thinking you're under the Mendoza line, like you're batting 197. And in that year, he hit 47 home runs, but he struck out 215 times. For me, it's just like, I could never really wrap my head around the idea of like the existence of a guy like Kyle Schwarber. And I'm not just knocking him for the sake of knocking him. It's just, it feels like there were guys like that existed before that never got a chance, right? Because they wouldn't be able to sit there and say, oh yeah, you've got, and this is a dude who's like, and last year he got MVP votes. He was second in MVP voting, right? It's just, he performs for fantasy. I'll tell you that much, right? Like, I know this isn't the general baseball show, right? But just for the sake of it, because I have it up here, because it's funny. Like,
at 21, he had 266. I mean, that's pretty good nowadays.
Yeah, like at that point, that's great. That was pretty. 266 with 30 home runs is great, right? 250 in the years before in Chicago, 38 home runs. That's fine. The 218 is when it starts to, like, I guess he just started selling out for power, and it became a thing where, because he didn't even walk 100 times that year. He had 200 strikeouts, 46 home runs, 218 batting average, but his OPS was 827. I mean, it makes sense. OPS is considered. It's just, it's weird for me. Like, I still can't wrap my head around it. Yeah, 347 lifetime OBP. I mean, it's something. Like, look, even this year right now, we still got a 400 OBP. That's great. His OPS is over 1,000. Again, coming off last year where he was second in voting. The power is elite. It's so I can get it. It's just the game has changed on us a little bit,
Yeah, it's I guess I'm an old head in this regard. So
no, I get it. I because like I said, it's weird for me to see like yeah, and you see, I hate low batting average. Shit kills me, dude. I remember like growing up.
Deere would have been a freaking all-star these days. Like,
yeah, like it's weird to me, the idea of like, I remember there were guys I grew up with that the idea was, okay, if he's batting like 260, but he has a lot of power, we'll find a way to get him in the lineup because he's batting like 260. But if he was batting like 220, even with elite power, we wouldn't put him in the lineup.
Demoted.
Right, exactly. So, those were like barometers you had to clear. So the fact that I got like full season here, Kyle Schwarber, under 200 with the chance to hit 427 home runs, 720 plate appearances. I mean, it's just new age. It works. It works for certain teams, so I can't really knock it. I'm not an expert, but it's still weird for me to wrap my head around. I agree.
Yeah, I guess I got to just tolerate it. Otherwise, you don't have anything to watch. But
no, but what else you got on the trade? Well,
side? We got two more here. First, we're going to go to this one. Kansas receiving freshman Sebastian Walcott. I think they received some fab in that deal too, didn't they?
Did they? I don't know, because I feel like I got mad at this.
Something else.
I got so mad at this deal that I didn't look if there was fab. I got to be honest with you. That's a great point. Let me check if I before I start talking about how bad a deal.
I mean, I don't think that it was enough to not be a bad deal, and I don't understand it because Ben is a great owner. But man, this was a terrible trade.
So what are these little crowns with the numbers next to the usernames? So my understanding, by the way, because we don't see the crowns on this side, those are from YouTube, and I believe it's in reference to top commenters. So if people who are commenting, like giving a lot of comments on the YouTube side, the crown is a ranking of how often. Andrew says there was Fab, my bad. So $25. So you are not immune to the Ash curse of making graphics and getting things wrong. Don't worry. It's okay. It's part of the deal here. But
sophomore Neto as well.
yeah, this is a really bad deal. I think
Walcott's out for
Walcott's out for the year.
He must have barely woken up in Germany when he made this deal. Because Ben, the Kansas owner, he lives in Germany. He's actually got a funny story with how he got into fantasy baseball. I was in a league with him a few years before this got started, and he joined that league thinking it was a soccer league. He saw it advertised somewhere and didn't realize he was joining a baseball league. And then once he got in, he was like, "Oh, I'll just give it a shot." And so, like, he knew nothing about baseball until he accidentally joined a fantasy baseball league. So
I love that. But I see Chuck mentioning 10 stolen bases last year. That's Kyle Schwarber, by the way. Kyle Schwarber had 10 steals last year. He also had 10 steals, I think, in 2022, based on that graphic. So it's not the first time double-digit steals for Kyle Schwarber. Yeah, this is a great way to put it in a family-friendly sense. Walcott might end up being really good, maybe even like Zach Neto. I love the way that you put that because I mean we talked about this a lot. Yeah, I talk about this a lot with when JT was on the regular baseball stuff. Ash and I use this phrase because of him a lot. We talk about mystery boxes, right? I mean, this is a really pretty mystery box in Sebastian Walcott. I get that. I understand that he is a high level mystery box, right? But Zach Neto is hitting really well right now, and it's just for me like Neto's got to be the guy that gets a bigger return than that. I think that that's just way too light a return and way too risky because Walcott could turn into nothing. And I see we had somebody join, by the way, which is interesting.
Yeah, we've got our resident Vanderbilt owner coming on board with us. Vanderbilt, what do you got?
Hey, Ash, how you doing? Can you guys hear me?
All right, man. What do you got going on?
We can hear you.
Good deal. Yeah. Decided to jump on. I had to get a couple of things finish up first, but wanted to jump on.
I think you made a trade this week, did you?
I did make a trade this week. I floated a couple around, was able to find something I liked to get Logan Webb to help stabilize some of the top end of my pitching rotation, which is band-aid together with 3s and 4s and 5s, I kind of feel like. So made a trade to solidify the front end, but we were off Josh Naylor and Cade Smith for, which I felt like was a fair price.
I'm glad you got on because I mean I know we were talking about you early on. You talked about the fact that last year that you were real quiet, like you didn't do too much. You feel like you're really just starting to kind of step into the spotlight this year. You're talking to people, you're making trades. What's the experience been like for you, kind of moving forward and actually like being more part of the league now compared to year one?
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. I think I've got a very demanding job. So last year I was kind of very busy until the end of Memorial Day weekend, and I was kind of already out of it at that point in the season. So I just kind of did some moves quietly. Was very active and made some moves quietly, and just kind of played by myself. Kind of got back into it, but I was kind of peeking from here to there. But just kind of with my job, I was busy. But I've been kind of doing a better work-life balance this year. So I've been able to kind of use this as kind of a hobby to get away from work and keep that focus a little bit. So this has been awesome, and kind of been diving into that. Was able to keep that balance during some really busy times in my schedule. So it's been good. It's been great. I've enjoyed kind of looking at the Discord and seeing the chats and coming on here and watching this the last couple of weeks. So I think you do a good job hosting, and I've known Ash for years. Ash and I go way, way back. A lot longer now than I think I care to admit. But yeah, I mean, it's been good.
I think it's been a decade now, man.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think it's been about 10 years now, actually. Yeah, so this keeps us in touch too. So I really like that. I think I was bugging him a lot last year with a lot of the stuff that I was doing. And he was encouraging me to get on. So I'm a little shy sometimes, but kind of like just wanted to come out. It's been good. People have been great to interact with on here. I know LSU and I had a little back and forth earlier this afternoon in the chat about a potential trade that just didn't work through. And he was number 2 last year, and I upset him in the first round of the SEC tournament. And that really kind of like got me going a little bit, being like, okay, well, I can be competitive in this league. So yeah, it's been good.
Good. By the way, just letting you know, Mr. Pink says I've been messaging you about batting, damn it, and Ed over from Indiana saying I love hearing a guy talk about getting a better work life balance. Good for
I
you.
think somebody needs to help Peter get a better work life balance. Come on, man.
I love that. Ed is the most responsible for Peter even having a work life balance, right? If anything, the fact that he still has the life remaining is barely because the Mets don't bring up all shit. So Alice still remembers, though. Alice still remembers. But no, I'm happy to have you on here. Because I mean, I always encourage. Ed took that one to the heart, Ash. You heard him. You heard him right in the heart.
For those that don't know, Ed is Peter's boss. So
I'm always happy to have anyone on here. I mean, last year we'd always encourage people. I'd post a link. I'm like, please come on, because this is one thing that whatever the opposite of gatekeeping is what I want to do with this. I want people to feel comfortable coming on and talking, because this is supposed to be fun. I always talk about it, and I will trash talk. I'll mess with people, and it's never meant to be taken personally. LSU says Vandy's been an awesome owner for you there, which is nice, because LSU is also a very active, especially on the conference stuff behind the scenes. LSU very active and like one of the big contributors too. So it's a good group of guys, and we're happy to have you. I'm glad you're having fun. I'm glad you're on the top 25 too.
Yeah, it's been good. It definitely has kept me interested. I will admit it's probably taken my interest away from work a little bit more than it should this week, kind of keeping me into it. So, but no, it's been really good. It's been a lot of fun, and you do a good job hosting this. I know this isn't an easy thing to do, and especially with limited numbers of people. So you do a really good job of hosting this. You got a good screen presence, and you do a good job hosting.
Oh, thank you.
Man, don't puff up Rand's head anymore. Come on, man.
See,
hey, it takes a lot of courage to do this. It does.
Ash is happy to have me on. He'll antagonize me here, but behind the scenes he'll be like, "I'm so glad you're here, man. I'm so glad you're around." It's funny too, because no one will believe it now, because it's very obvious the way my personality is now. But I used to be a very, very quiet person, and then at some point I just decided not to give a fuck, and now it just sticks everywhere. Where when we started talking about the general baseball stuff before the CBL league, I was like, dude, I'll join. I'll do it. Whenever you want me on, I'll be here. Because Ash is my friend regardless, so I'm happy to help. But I enjoy this stuff, and I enjoy talking to people. I enjoy the guys that I've become friends with.
You gotta hop on with me and Kevin Thursday night.
I know that.
You'll be gone. You'll be out of time.
Yeah, he fat fingered again here, or he's just fucking with me, because like I'm hoping he wanted to say big personality, but if not, screw you. But if okay, cool. All right,
there we go. That's more like it.
Yeah.
But
kind of wanted to go back into that chat you were having earlier about the college teams, and like I picked up. You said you kind of grew up more in the Northeast.
So
on that.
I've talked about this on the general baseball, not so much on the CBL. I've done it with Ash before, but I'm from South America. I'm from Guyana, so baseball was being here where I am in New York. I kind of had to learn to be American, and so I knew cricket first, and I learned baseball as part of like being American.
That's cool.
And so the Mets are kind of a part of like my understanding. I see him, by the way. I know you're on your phone. It's all good. Use the autocorrect feature, but yeah. So I kind of I'm in here in New York. I'm in this part here where I learn the Mets. You learn the Knicks. I watch the Jets and the Giants because again,
you might have been in Nashville in January, but.
Yeah, I was in Nashville. I was in Nashville before, but Ash didn't want to see me. He was like, "No, his face appalls me." So I had to go find other friends in Nashville, and that was fun. But I know like sports culture because of New York culture. So like in this kind of like I'm supposed to hate Boston everything, like, and I to some extent I do. Like I never say something nice about the Celtics. I like antagonizing Philly people. That's part of why I mesh with like Andy from Penn State, and I bother him all the time because he's a Phillies fan.
Yeah,
Ram enjoys liquid courage. Very true. I mean, I was drinking at 13. I'm pretty sure they put Johnny Walker in my baby bottle. That's the story that they tell me.
So when are you going to come to the bourbon tour with me? Bourbon
trail.
Go to the bourbon trail.
I do a bourbon tour every Friday night in my house by going through the bottles of liquor that I have. I'd love to do something like that because I'm also I have a whiskey collection, so I love that type of stuff. Damn, you autocorrect. It won't autocorrect bug to big since bug is a word. I know.
That makes a lot of sense, but kind of what I was going to get to around like it makes sense like your sports literacy is more profound, like in professional sports because the New York sports media market does not care about college sports at all.
No, they
Like
do
it
not.
plays like 10th, 15th fiddle to whatever else
Even
is
if
going
Peter
on.
tries to push Rutgers on us, they don't care.
No, it's the
No,
truth of the
no,
matter. Like I
and
learned
I
from
think it's a
sports media out
Northeast
here.
thing. Like Boston, Philadelphia, those cities care more about their sports teams than they do any kind of college, and it's almost vice versa any other part of the country. Like in the Southeast, it's completely vice versa. People will give up their mortgages to support Alabama football.
Dude, and I
like,
love that though.
I find that crazy. I find that personally wild. Just kind of like people sitting there and sacrificing generational wealth to support 18 to 22-year-olds. Like that's just kind of
When I lived in
that just
Portland,
blows
people
my
didn't really
mind.
care much either.
No,
It
yeah,
was
yeah.
weird to
Well,
me.
I've lived, yeah, I've lived in the Pacific Northwest too, and it just wasn't as big there. I mean, it was part of the culture. People enjoyed it. It was a thing, but it was
They
something
would
that
watch
they
the game, but
did.
like
Yeah, it was something that they did. It wasn't a lifestyle. Like once the game was over, they moved on. They didn't sit there and sulk Monday through Thursday over a loss or
No,
celebrate for the next 3 weeks over it was still
it,
important and people still went. It's interesting that it's different parts of the country have different interest in different sports, college, the pro.
I like that level of passion though, because I'll tell you something. Like if you look at like cricket, for example, or like or I don't know soccer as well, but I know the fandom is really like bleeds deep in there. In like cricket, for example, like one of the greatest rivalries in the history of sports is like India versus Pakistan in cricket, right? And an India versus Pakistan game, like if you're sitting there, like people are like dying after these games. Like people
There's
are
some
going out there and
historical
fighting.
context to that too, just
Yeah, but
for
I
full
mean, like it.
context.
Correct, it is, and it's true, but that's part of
Yeah,
why the rivalry exists, right? But
yeah.
they literally it's like life or death for them for this kind of stuff, and I kind of in a way I grew up around that very passionate stuff. I mean, like I like historically, right? I support the West Indies because I'm Guyanese. West Indies versus England, amusingly, has always been a bit of a rivalry. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Historical context, because the English
Correct.
colonized Guyana.
Apartheid.
So anytime the
Mm-hmm.
West Indies get to beat England in cricket, we're like, fuck you. We love this.
Yep.
Like, so I get that. It's a very passionate, normal thing. So
Mm-hmm.
the college stuff doesn't breathe like that deep, but I go down south a lot. Coming from New York, like I used to go travel because I like Southern food. I like Southern people. So I've been down to like the deep parts of the South, and the college culture to me is amazing because it really is like a huge thing for some of these people that I've never really witnessed.
Mr. Pig,
And it's selfish. I'd rather win the CBL than Bama win the next natty. I mean, like it's one of those things where like I also think that Bama's got a reputation, right? So like, by the way, and this is to what Vandy was saying, WFAN does suck. I used to do this kind of like podcasting and the sports stuff because the general sports media in New York, and I say this with love to certain people who are very good, sucks ass because it's New York centric and biased to the point where like they think like the world revolves around like the Yankees and the Mets, and it really fucking doesn't. But they sit there and they think the world revolves around New York sports, and it's insane. And they tune you out to things like college sports, where like you might sit there like me and grow an entire life who's very sports centric, but you going on that stuff because they don't expose you to it at all, even unless you're there and it's in your backyard.
How much do you think a lack of a true college power in New York City? Because I know St. John's is there. They claim Syracuse from time to time, but there's
Yeah.
when
really no.
Syracuse is good, they claim them.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
exactly.
that's
But
to
it's
be
the
fair,
same
but
with the
yeah, like
Johnnies too. If I'm being
there's
honest, it's
no.
only when they're
Yeah.
good.
I mean, if some of these schools grew up and they had a Kentucky or they had a Louisville or if they had somebody in New York City, I think maybe you would care more. But like I feel like some of it, on top of all the pro sports that they're fighting for attention, is just a lack of a true college powerhouse being in the city limits.
I certainly don't disagree because I mean, look, they claim Syracuse when Syracuse is good, and then like Carmelo came from Syracuse, right? So like,
Mm-hmm.
we had this whole talk about they talked about Syracuse in the orange because Carmelo was on the Knicks for a bit, and they're like, hey, he was supposed to be there, cool. Like they claim more of like New York heritage than they do a college heritage. It's true, they don't
Mm-hmm.
have a college power, but I don't think they aspire to have one because there's only so much brain power we have in this area. And you got to
Mm-hmm.
think it's already sincerely like the Knicks are like a culture up here. So if you want to get someone to care about college basketball, can't really be like attached to the Knicks the way that normal fans are. If you want them to care about like college baseball, you can't expose them to the Mets or the Yankees because that's like a lifestyle. It literally is a lifestyle up here. Like, we talk about this a lot up here. I joke about it, but I mean it sincerely. You meet somebody with a Mets hat on, that is an elective choice they made when they left the house that morning. And it's a part of who they are. And that's all the baseball they have room in their heart for, because we're going to suffer. So it's hard to tell me like, oh, I also got to go watch this guy play baseball like UConn over there at the same time. It's outside of the people who went to colleges around here and developed an affiliation for their sports teams. It's hard, but I think you're right that without a big powerhouse in this area too, like in terms of right out of New York, and even if there was one, they wouldn't get as much coverage compared to like what the Yankees or Mets are doing.
Right. Fun fact, Ash and I have actually been to a college football game inside the New York City limits. In New York City limits. Fordham University has an FCS school.
Yes.
And they play in a park over in the Bronx that, I swear to God, it looked like they had like a weekend soccer team was waiting for our game to finish up so they could use the field. Like, it was, that's why it kind of looked.
That's about how much they care about it. That's how much they care about it.
And then the wild, something like that, But like the wild thing is the who we were there to watch for was a competitive top 10 FCS school from a respectable conference, and it was kind of jarring for us to go there and basically be at a rec league, a Sunday after. It felt like watching Pee Wee football on Sunday or Saturday afternoon. Just kind of get that whole vibe. But there's nowhere else. That's just the realism there of the situation. There's nowhere else for Fordham to play there or any other.
Correct.
Like, it's such a limited space, so they've got to share space where they can. But yeah, I do think like that and having those situations make it really hard for anybody in the city to get behind a singular college. And plus with New York City being such a big melting pot too, like there's probably every college probably has a representation in New York City. Like I know I'm here in Nashville, I tell people this all the time. There are probably more fans of every other SEC school inside of Nashville than there are Vanderbilt. And that's just the truth of the matter. Some of that's just numbers where each of these SEC schools are churning out 15,000 kids every single year in graduation class, where Vanderbilt turns out 2,000 to 3,000.
Right.
And it's just some of that. But like even here in Nashville, we've got more SEC fans from other schools than Vanderbilt. And when our football team plays, the other half of the stadium is the other school. Like sometimes the cheapest ticket to go see Alabama football is to come up and go watch them play at Vanderbilt, and vice versa. Just insert other SEC school there. That's just the kind of truth of the matter. So like, it's different. It's wild. It's just a different experience, and it's cool. So it's all sports though, right?
No, I know. It's you see, by the way, you see Mr. Pink saying, 100% Nashville's the new ATL, where, the young graduates are flocking to that area. I know that Atlanta itself had undergone a change in that regard, because I went to Atlanta a few years ago. I saw when they did that construction over for where the Braves play now, and they changed the entirety of downtown. They've got their whole downtown hanging out there. ATL's the city. They've got their culture. But you've seen these flooding of people into other areas that may not have been as populated in this way, because I'm glad. I was just saying Vandy baseball is always good, but it's got to be interesting, I think, because when I travel and I see that stuff, it's new for me in that regard. I see that kind of college stuff. Over the time, I've gotten used to it. Kind of amazing to watch, like you said, like people willing to put their mortgage payment down on like a 19-year-old. They're like, this is it. This is my life now. I've decided it's not even their 19-year-old. It's not even their family. It's just like, this is it, man. Like, this is all we have to each other. And you see the passion for something like
boosters coming and coaches coming to people now and being like, hey, listen, we really need this third string quarterback. He's going to be awesome in 2 years. Can you just, we just need an extra $10,000 to get this signed. Can you hand it over? I mean, that's where we're at.
Ash just talked to me about that stuff. And I'm like, that's insane.
Where we are.
Like, these are insane numbers to me.
Well, and with regard to New York, it's also like there's some bandwidth too. Like you only have so much time to, focus on things. And like when you have the Knicks and the Nets, and you've got the Islanders and the Rangers, those, especially the Islanders, the Rangers, and the Knicks, those are three pretty historic franchises, all going right in the heart of college basketball season. In football, you've got the Yankees and Mets going on right at the beginning of the football season. And then you've got two NFL teams. So it's like, the average New Yorker doesn't have time to focus on a college team. Like some random Mississippi,
Mm-hmm. It seems like the only
No,
little kind of break they have would be like early March, where that March Madness is, so they can like peek in for a couple of weeks and watch March Madness, and then check in and check out. You know,
yeah. No, I mean that like that's actually a thing. It sounds funny. Like I'm not trying to insult New Yorkers. I'm a New Yorker, right? But it's the idea of like there's always something going on here, and New York is an unavoidably sports town. Like even if you don't like it, you learn it for small talk, or like if something's going on, you're aware of it. Like the Knicks are in the playoffs. They're facing the Hawks in a couple days, right? You're going to go in the city and you're going to see Knicks banners everywhere. People talking about the Knicks. Watch the Knicks game at the bar. The Knicks games at the restaurant, and radio and local news is going to be like your local New York Knicks are in the playoffs because they're the only real team in New York because the Brooklyn Nets aren't an actual team. And you'll hear about this stuff. And it just, you can't avoid it. And God, the Mets and the Yankees make the playoffs. There's always talk. There's someone out there talking. Is there going to be a Subway Series again? All this kind of like New York to New York rivalry. You cannot avoid it. So if you like the sport, you're just kind of preconditioned to be thrown to the professional under what's going on over there, and then you stick to it. And for certain people, like even for me, my knowledge of baseball goes as deep as the minor leagues, but it can't go to college. Like I've got so much bandwidth in my brain, but I've got random A-ball guys that I can talk to you about, right? So like it in that way, that's like my college baseball, watching the guys like from A-ball come up, and I get proud of them.
You only go to A-ball? Come on, man.
I love A-ball.
You're not talking to DSL and
I'll do DSL. Elian Pena is a prospect for the Mets. He's actually got an OPS over 800 so far in his starts. But no,
you get 200 the other day.
I low key hate college baseball. I really do. I think it's banana ball. I watched the College World Series.
Hold on. Do you not like banana ball?
I like banana ball, but it's aluminum bats. It's a little underdeveloped. Okay. It's not good. Like it's good competition, but then there's some bad, and it's just so much vitality with it, and there's just volatility with it. Where, like, I'm probably saying this is sour grapes, but Vanderbilt went in as the #1 seed last year in the NCAA tournament, and then gets knocked out by Wright State and Louisville. Can't even hold their home turf just because they hold a couple of guys back in their pitching rotation, getting them right. Like just things like that. It's just there's too many variables in it. It's just kind of a clown show a little bit, and then you got all these like. You play way too many games. I think that's probably my #1 complaint with college baseball. There's way too many games, and even when you get into conference play, a lot of top tier teams play a random Tuesday or Wednesday night. Right, but at that level, it's more about development. It's still development at that level, and I just think it's just a little too much. Like especially when we get into conference play, and we're still playing Tuesday, Wednesday midweek games against Lipscomb and Belmont when we've got Florida coming in this weekend. I just think it's a little much.
Our resident LSU fan says he doesn't think they play enough games.
Okay, it's hard for me to keep track of college ball too because I agree. I think if you give me enough footage in the minors, with the wood bat and things like that, I can get a gist on whether I believe somebody's got some potential. Mm-hmm. With college, it's a crapshoot for me. Like even with a lot of footage, I'm still not good to be like, oh yeah, this guy's going to be good. And I'll watch a pitcher. And I might be able to say, okay, he's got a really good fastball. He's got a really good slider, but I don't have enough information based on the way he's used to determine, are you going to be a starter? Are you going to be a reliever? Are you a guy that I can throw my belief behind? So I struggle with the idea of what's going on in terms of scouting college ball. College football, I can kind of pick up a little bit more on if I watch some games and get an idea. I think we had somebody else join us too here, by the way. I don't know if he
it was Andy, but I don't see him now.
I saw Andy join in. I don't know if he was in the conversation.
Ash will get this more than you, but I'll just say any sport that Morehead State can beat Kentucky and Louisville in is a little bit of a clown sport. Because Morehead State baseball's beat Louisville and Kentucky both this season during midweek games.
Beating Louisville is not very much this year. So, all right, Andy, I see you in the studio. It says you have no devices connected, so connect your mic.
Yeah, so we can bring you on, but all I know about Morehead State is that every time they win, I post that little stupid meme that says Morehead State. That's where I want to be. That's as much as that's all I got. That's literally all I got.
I might be testing your age here, but do you remember NBA player Kenneth Fareed?
Yes,
Morehead State alum.
I
actually know him.
Ash does this to me every now and then because
long ago. That was like 10 years ago.
Ash, that was like 17 years ago.
No.
It's pushing 20.
No, because Morehead beat Louisville in the tournament in 2012, I think, with Fareed.
Yeah.
Was it? I just remember Fareed played for Denver, I think, at the time.
For a long time.
Yeah, because he's local to this area. Yeah, he's from New Jersey. I just had to check that one to make sure. But I'm like, he's not too far. But I remember him playing because when he played for the Nets for a little bit, they talked about the fact that he was from Newark. And I remember watching him because, I mean, I just watch a lot of these sports. So like that stuff I could do. Like I wouldn't be able to tell you that Fareed is from Morehead State. Like I barely even know the fact. The reason I have George Springer on my team in the CBL is because he's actually from UConn. And when I was building the team, I was like, I need to get a guy from UConn on the actual freaking squad because otherwise this feels fraudulent. I need to pretend to know what I'm doing here. So
I got another.
I have any alumni on mine.
I've got another Morehead State alum and New York sports connection. Do you want to guess it?
Morehead State and New York. What's fourth then?
And New York sport football. Don't say it, Ash. I'm sure you know. Don't say it.
Wait, Jets or Giants?
Old school Giants.
Oh, that's going to be hard for me. I wouldn't be able to get
I actually thought he played from Murray if you were going.
Phil Simms.
Yeah.
Oh, Phil Simms is from. Okay, so they are an actual school.
He played at Morehead State.
We're giving Rams some more useless college trivia now.
Yeah.
The best part is I have ADHD and brain like stuff, so like I won't remember this by the time we're done with the podcast. So like next week you're gonna be like, hey, where did Kenneth Fareed play? And I'll be like,
we're gonna do that.
Newark, New Jersey. This is that's why I need to do the college segment every week because then I can actually go back and watch the show. I'll learn something every time when I hear myself talk about the Chanticleers or whatever the frick I was talking about earlier. Andy tried to enter again, by the way. I don't know if we can get him. It still says device not connected.
Yeah, it says no device connected. So get your mic working, Andy. You've been on the show before. He did this show once last year.
It is what is a Chanticleer? It is apparently it is apparently based on the Gamecocks. It's a fancy Gamecock. Yes, and I learned also today that the Blue Hens are gender neutral. So don't misgender them. They're not female only. The UDL,
they're gender fluid.
They're gender neutral, not gender fluid. There's a difference, all right? Don't be an asshole. Okay. There is a difference, all right? We're gonna learn things today. Gender fluid means that they can go between, like they can identify as either male or female. Joe Flacco.
Joe Flacco. We come. Are we in deja vu?
Joe Flacco is not gender neutral. Joe Flacco is a man. I just want to be very clear in case anyone's confused. Former Super Bowl champion Joe Flacco is a guy. He identifies
current Cincinnati Bengal.
Current Cincinnati. I like that he's not retired, but
I like that they brought him back. I mean,
former New York Jet, by the way, guy that I watched play and defeat the Cleveland Browns in one of the wildest comebacks for the Jets that made no sense and only hurt their season. But yeah, Joe Flacco.
I mean, in about 15 years, how obscure is the Joe Flacco Bengals jersey going to be? It's going to be right up there with the Pete Rose Montreal Expos.
I mean, so I've had this conversation a lot in baseball. Like, I like a weird, like, it hurts me a little bit. Like, if I see a guy that I know, like, Felix Hernandez is always going to be a Mariner to me. To see him in any other jersey is going to be really weird. I think he took a minor league stint with the Braves, and it hurt me. I was like, no, you can't.
COVID ended his career. He was actually pitching really well in spring training of 2020. Like, he was going to make the rotation.
Yeah, he's one of my. It would have hurt my heart, man. He's one of my favorite baseball players. I got a signature of his up there. I'm like, don't go to the Rays, man. Don't.
Yeah, I'm kind of. I share the same sentiment a little bit with Joey Votto. As you can tell my name, my nickname.
Yeah, I've got I got a Joey Votto Toronto Blue Jays like baseball card, and I'm just keeping that because I'm like, this makes no sense. This is actually sacrilegious.
$15. And I'm like, I'm not going to pay $15 for that.
If Andy couldn't vote, he is banned from speaking. Andy did. I'm pretty sure Andy got his vote in, actually. I think it was Duke that didn't vote because he was on vacation.
I didn't get my vote in.
All right, I'll mute you then. Hang on. I'll just quiet you. Yeah, there we go. We muted Ash. Andy, I'll unmute him. But Andy, can you hear us? Can you talk to us?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Beautiful. How's it going?
What brings you on tonight, man? I mean, I was making fun of the New York Philly rivalry. You're number one. I mean, what specifically brought you to come up to want to talk today?
Oh, I'm just checking in. Looks like we're having a very good conversation, and it's 11:45 where I am. The kids are asleep. The wife's asleep. I got nothing to do. So
is it still snowing in Halifax?
No. It was beautiful today. It was like in Celsius, it was 13 degrees, which is really.
I don't know
really
what
nice.
that is, man. That might be 110. I have no idea what 13C is.
Yeah, it's
But
about.
that-
it was about,
that-
it was
that
about
is
55.
probably-
It was about 55.
Oh, that's cold.
Not when you're
Below 60.
no. That was a beautiful.
It's a fucking Celsius
Yeah.
over here.
They got me. You know, I'm from the States, but they got
Oh,
me.
that was awful. Rocky was even worse.
God. But so are you residing in Canada now? Is that are you in Halifax? Is that you're
Yeah,
from Delaware?
I'm not in Halifax. I live close to Halifax. But I lived in Canada for the last, it'll be 9 years in June.
'Cause I was gonna say it just based on given the time you actually gave yourself out, because remember I'm on Eastern Standard Time and it's 10:45 here. So when you jump
Yeah,
on
I
and
thought
you
the
say
same
it's
thing.
11:44, I was like, oh, you're not American. You gave it up. But
Yeah.
they can tell. It's sort of like when I had to pronounce Utah's team, they're like, this guy doesn't fucking do college sports. But at
Yeah,
least I'm honest about it, right?
when I started
I was
using
expecting you to
Celsius, I
speak
think
French
that's
a
when you
little
know.
bit.
What were you saying?
When
I was
I
expecting
use, when you start to use Celsius, I think that's when you know.
Yeah, I mean Celsius is also an easy giveaway, obviously.
Yeah.
But
At least he didn't talk about pitches being kilometers an hour or some shit.
I'm okay with that.
Come on,
I'm
Ram.
all right with that. Dude, when Miles Straw signed with the Blue Jays, you have to legally change his name. We have to be about this stuff. This is normally like how it works. I think it's okay, right? Look, we got on this side, right?
Not
You got
okay.
you. So like it's you. You're
When
you're
you went,
American.
oh, I got to jump in. When you went to the Mets game in London, did they
Yes.
show the pitch speed?
Yes, they did. And
Did they put miles per
showed
hour
miles
or
per hour. They
kilometers?
showed us miles per hour.
Okay.
Yes.
Appropriate.
Bet that
was
confused no one.
I'm glad because dude, it was I talk about this so much, but the and Ed is saying, by the way, meters per second, which would be fucking terrible. Like if we went there, they the London people had so much fun with that game. That was one of the most entertaining experiences I have done in years, just to go over there. And I'm meeting a bunch of British people. They're like, we don't really know what's going on, but it's sports, so we're here and we're picking a team now. So like they just bred a whole bunch of like random Mets and Phillies fans because that was their first exposure to baseball. And they were hanging out, getting drunk with us in the middle of like this random town square. And I'm like, this is awesome. I kind of enjoy this. We're good.
I was going to say, they probably got asked two questions. What's going on over there? And the second one was probably, is there beer? We'll be there.
Yeah, like I had random beer with people are buying drinks. This is awesome. I'm okay with it. You know what they also love that I learned? They know that we love Sweet Caroline. So that turned into a whole thing because they were doing Sweet Caroline as a general like fight song over there, even though the Mets and
Only
Phillies
Red Sox fans like Sweet Caroline, though.
but Americans like Sweet Caroline. Like I know that baseball wise it's a Red Sox thing, but like it's a generally like American thing.
Is the rally monkey still a thing?
Like literally, or
That might have aged out.
I think that's not a thing anymore. Yeah, like
Okay.
You know what's even aged out that makes me sad? Rally caps have kind of aged out. You don't see people.
I still
do
see
them
him at Reds games.
once in a while, but it's not like it's not a
Anytime
thing.
they're
as
down
much
in the
anymore.
ninth, I always see it at Reds games. Not maybe like a mass crowd, but I definitely see like
a few
15
people.
to 20 people.
Yeah, those
do
are
it
the
at Reds
those are the
games.
like lifers, man. Those guys have been there for like 20 years, like watching them too. So
I don't know,
that's
maybe y'all are a
probably...
little too sophisticated in New York for that. But here in
No,
the Midwest,
I got burnt
we
out.
Still do that
No,
in the
he's a
Midwest.
Mets fan.
Yeah, I was gonna say we
He's a
the
Mets
Mets.
fan.
I don't know
well,
if you've seen what goes
there's
on
no
at Mets
rally
games,
then.
but
Is that
nobody.
guy still bringing his dog out there?
Yes, we had that conversation too. He hates my ass too because I chewed him out the last time I was there. I went there last week, and I always just like, hey, bitch. But that doesn't. Nobody
Do you
is
all
ever
still play
mistaken.
Jose Iglesias' song?
They don't do that anymore, which makes me sad because like that
Oh,
was really fun.
shocker.
You know, Mets fans got him some good Spotify revenue, but and then they got him a feature with Pitbull, which I think is outstanding.
Shout out Jose Iglesias, just
I love
the
that
warrior
dude.
that keeps going on. He
He's
was
also-
he was a non-roster. He made the Reds as a non-roster invitee like in 17, 18. It had absolutely no business being a non-roster invite, but just got through the cracks. And he was turning a really solid season. He's one of my favorite obscure Reds.
his glove is still outstanding. I mean, his one season with the Mets is probably one of the reasons that Peter is kind of stuck with us as a Mets fan, because that 2024 team sucked him in because it was so stupid. I mean, we had the Hawk Tua girl, we had Grimace, we had the gay Grimace Mets, we had Jose Iglesias.
Came back as a Mets fan.
It was fun. I mean, like, the thing is, if the Mets are going to be bad, it's at least nice if they're fun. Like, even, and Andy can speak to this, I mean, the dancing on your own Phillies was actually entertaining as hell. I think when guys don't take themselves seriously is when fans are most, like, attached to the team.
And there's not many franchises that could pull off doing the things like that, the promos with the grimaces and the hot twos.
No, like the Yankees just learned that facial hair is a thing. That's what I mean. Like, what do you
think? The Mets are more likely to rug pull somebody in a crypto scheme. So.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I saw the other day, like, they when I was at the game, they were talking about the Mercury Mets promo, and I'm like, nobody thinks the Mets fans or the Mets are sophisticated, and I'm okay with that, because, like, I like that. I like us being dumb, because if we were too serious, like I said, I couldn't even pronounce, like, Chanticleer, right? Like, I'm not a guy who could be a Yankees fan anyway. I'm not built that way. I have to be, like, what the lovable losers.
Yankee Stadium might be the worst stadium I've been to. I'm not even.
It was pretty corporate. It felt pretty corporate.
It is very corporate. It's basically just, here's the Yankees, and if you like the Yankees, you like our stadium, and you will deal with our shit. And otherwise,
even the color scheme, it's just like bland and gray. It's just there's no soul in that stadium.
I have not been to City, though. I need to get to City.
City's a lot of fun. Also, 4 years in a row, number one ballpark food, because we sell $30 rum buckets because they're required drinking to watch the Mets, if you didn't know. But yeah, I mean, I would love to start a blog about, like, the Mets are why I drink. It's a lie, but, like, I drink because I'm Caribbean. But you need, like, the Mets are kind of like, you go into a comedy club and there's like a 2-drink minimum for it to be, like, funny and watchable. Like, the Mets are probably the most 2-drink minimum team I've known in my life of baseball. And I think that's important to say as a Mets fan. Like, we're a 2-drink minimum. So if you give me a rum bucket, we're good. We're on good terms. We have understood the purpose of what I'm doing when I go to the stadium. And I need to at least feel the buzz so that when Brett Beatty strikes out for the 3rd time with the bases loaded, I'm not heckling him. I'm just looking at the guy next to me like, the Mets, man, what are we gonna do? Let's run out our rally cap that costs $65 because the fact that New Era fanatics are bullshit now. But the Mets are a drinking game. Don't I know it? And thank God I've got an iron liver, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to do the watch the Jazz. And
I'm
wearing a White Sox jersey today too.
He just brought up the Mets and his Wi-Fi went bad.
I know. We got you again. You were frozen for a little bit.
Yeah, you were frozen for a second. But I share the same frustration with my teams, and I've been to Reds games with Ash, and he's been in the car with me after tough losses, and he's heard me bitch and complain about that. So I share that with you. I'm trying to have a more positive attitude with the Reds this year, because, like, they made the playoffs in a full season for the first time in 12 years, and I couldn't enjoy it because I was still pissed off that they couldn't hit with runners in scoring position, or the offense can't score more than 2 runs a game, which is still an issue. Like,
I get so annoyed, dude. Situational hitting is lost among so many teams now. I get so heated about these things. Like, if you want to see, and Peter's seen this, and Ed is saying he's starting to worry about what he wants to get into in June, because we're going to see a game together in June. So I'm going to meet Ed then, right? I've already warned him that I'm nuts. But it's like, if you want to see me flip out, if there's like a runner on third and less than 2 outs and we don't get him in, you'll hear me scream from section 500, because I'm like, this is not like play the game. I'm like, you got a guy on third, like, just ground out to second base or get a ball into the outfield. Like, you know how to play the game. It's his fundamentals. Do not do, like, if it's bases loaded, no out, and we don't get a run in, I, like, leave the stadium. I'll lose my mind, because it's just fundamentals. Like, we need situational hitting. Don't be looking to hit a home run every time out. Just get the run and play a little small ball. It's okay. Like, so I get real mad over those type of things. You want to see me get twisted as that, but otherwise, over the sake of the fact that I know my team is the Mets, like, I'm a lot relaxed. Peter's usually the one who wants to jump off the edge. We talk about this a lot. I'm kind of the one where I'm like, hey, it's all right. Like, dude, either they're going to suck or they won't, and we're just going to have a little bit of fun. See, look, dude on us, get picked off at third last week with 1 out. I mean, look, this happened to Lindor the other day when the Mets were playing. He got himself in no man's land.
Marte.
Yeah, third, I cannot. I lose my mind over that kind of stuff. Like, it's fundamentals. Like, you're being paid tens of millions of dollars You've got to be able to get the fundies right, man. Like so things like that will get me mad.
Yeah, and I get the like run expectancy arguments and stuff over the course of like 162, but when you get into short series in the postseason, it's those little things that you're talking about that actually matter and and need to be taken into account far more than your like run expectancy metrics and all that. Because if you can't get that guy over from second to third, and if you can't get those guys in, like you're not going to advance in a short series. So like
no.
I think that's where baseball's kind of missing the point a little bit. And you can't ask a guy to lay down a bunt in the first time of his season in Game 6 of the NLCS.
Right.
Like,
I get annoyed at that too. Like, listen, I know he doesn't know how to bunt. He's not a guy that's going to be bunting there because he just hasn't bunted all year. This might be the first time he's tried to bunt all year, right? I don't want him doing that right there in the playoffs unless he's been doing it throughout the year. And again, I'm not saying ball is everything, but fundamentals, man, you got to have the basics in your back pocket. I believe that firmly. So I lose my mind over that stuff. Believe me.
Andy, what's your thoughts on Kyle Schwarber being a Philly fan?
Yeah, well, I was just about to say, like, this is the like what the Phillies did last year with the Dodgers. They have a team assembled of so many guys that are just the three true outcome, and Kyle Schwarber is the leader of that, right? Kyle Schwarber is
modern day Adam Dunn.
He's a great hitter. He is really a modern day Adam Dunn, right? Like he doesn't hit singles, he doesn't hit doubles, he hits home runs or he walks or he strikes out. And over the course of a season, like that's gonna even out and it'll turn into a good year. But like you just said, Ash, in a 5-game series where
you can't be serious. Somebody asked who Adam Dunn was.
No, that's Peter, and he's talked around. I think he's disagreeing.
Guys are just going to hit a home run, walk, or strike out. And you saw it in the Dodgers series. Like the Phillies lost every game by like 2 runs or something because they couldn't get the runner over. They couldn't get the runner on third home. They don't hit singles. They don't play good situational baseball. And it just seems like ever since they went to the World Series in 2022, they've just gotten more into this mold of where it's going to hit home runs or we're going to strike out or we're going to walk. And they don't have – I mean, the other night they struck out like 18 times in one game. Like that's just their whole game right now is like it's a lot of –
It's like their plan is let's wait around for the 3-run home run to get us out of it.
Peter, shut up.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you who Adam Dunn is. You know who Adam Dunn is, Peter. Shut up.
Peter's old enough to know who Adam Dunn is.
But I will say about Kyle Schwarber, the fact that he was able to put a season like he did last year where he finished second in MVP voting for the type of player he is kind of insane.
I agree.
Especially as someone who is basically a DH. Like until Shohei Ohtani came around, a DH, you could never even imagine a DH winning an MVP.
No, it's true. It's just the fact that the voters. What we're seeing is that the voters had a lot of lead paint growing up, so they've decided to start realizing that they just don't really vote properly. Kyle Schwarber should not have been the second in MVP last year, but like it's just reality.
That's the game we're in. I mean, and defense is to voters not mattering.
Non-existent.
It's non-existent. So hitting is king. And I mean, Schwarber, for what it's worth, I mean, he still had like an OPS plus of in the 160, 170 range. I mean, he's a good hitter for what he is. He doesn't hit singles.
No, he's an elite power hitter. I mean, I was talking about the OPS
and he gets on base. He gets on base a ton.
Hold on. I still got it here, right? So this is because we were talking about it. I still have the stats here. I mean, yeah, look, OPS plus of 149. Right. I mean, I acknowledge the fact that is significantly, that's an elite number, right? 928 OPS is great. That's the type of OPS you look at and you're like, oh, this guy can compete for MVP. It's just the idea of like, again, he also raised his batting average back to the 240 levels like the year prior and that year compared to the 197 I was making fun of. But it's amazing power. And dude, when he's on, I hate the idea of facing him. I hate the idea of always, because if it's a day that he hit like 3 home runs yesterday, I'm like, please to God, pitch around him today. I don't want that. And speaking as a Mets fan, especially, Peter, of course, saying defense should matter. Lindor was snubbed in 24. And I mean, I happen to agree with that, but it's also the fact that Shohei had an offensive season that was for the record books, and everybody loves Shohei except, everyone outside of Dodgerville. But he's Ohtani as a poor man's Dunn is ridiculous, Peter. I'm not even doing this. But No, I will say. I mean, look, objectively,
All I've done though was the first of those type of hitters that they started putting at leadoff, and I still hate that.
I thought that was wild to see him at leadoff. I mean, granted, he was a very consistent power hitter. He was the 40 home run, 100 RBI king in that way. Like, I respected what he was doing. And I mean, it's one of these things here where I have to give Kyle Schwarber his credit just because of how dangerous he is. It's just, I get the frustration about there are so many guys that maybe would have had more utility growing up, for me at least, that didn't get a chance because of the fact that the standard idea was to not have those guys play. And now we see value in them because we're like, okay, this guy overall is still an offensive net positive by far. And he is. He is.
He's a very good player. I'll say this is like, I know the Reds were flirting with him in offseason as free agency. He's from around the area. Yep. I was hoping it didn't happen. As a Reds, I really was, because I know what that financial commitment was going to be. And a small market team like Cincinnati, you can't miss on a big financial commitment like that. And if they were to have signed him to the money that the Phillies just did, it would have reminded me of when I was growing up and Barry Larkin and Ken Griffey Jr. financially handcuffed the Reds to buy any pitching. It was a terrible tenure for the Reds, and I think that's what would have happened if they would have went back. Now, Philly can afford to make that mistake. They're in a different market. They have a bigger budget. They can afford to make that kind of mistake. Cincinnati can't. So just from that aspect, I was very happy that the Reds were not able to get it done with Schwarber, because there's a lot of holes on a lot of, I think he is a modern day Adam Dunn. I think that's who he is. He's a 1-for-1 Adam Dunn in my opinion. And I just don't think that's worth 250 or 75, whatever it is he got.
Yeah, and the thing about the Phillies is, unfortunately, they couldn't afford not to bring him back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they could not. Like, he has turned into our best hitter, which on a team with Bryce Harper is kind of crazy that Kyle Schwarber is your best hitter. And they could not afford to not bring him back. If they didn't, I mean, I don't know where they would have pivoted. I don't know if it would have been Bregman or whatever, but the Phillies could not afford to not bring him back. And
I find it funny. I feel like the Phillies are making the same financial commitments to aging stars like they did at the elder days of Ryan Howard and Jimmy Rollins and Chase Utley. Like, I feel like they're making that same mistake again.
Yeah, well, the thing is when you have Harper signed for the next 7 years and you have Trey Turner signed for the next 8 years and you have Aaron Nola signed for the next 5 years, you have to kind of just commit to this veteran approach and hope that these guys put it together one of these years. And I think for sure they have the talent to do it. I mean, you saw the way that they played the Dodgers last year. I think the Phillies are actually one of the few teams that actually could beat the Dodgers in a series, especially just with the pitching that they have with Wheeler coming back. Again, remember last year the Phillies did not have Wheeler in the postseason, and they took the Dodgers 4 games, lost in a couple of really close games. But yeah, the end of this Phillies era is not going to be pretty, I don't think, when we're paying a 41-year-old Trey Turner and a 38-year-old Bryce Harper and what's going to be a 38-year-old Kyle Schwarber. But it's kind of the hole they dug themselves in, and at least they're committing to it and not trying to do it halfway.
Is all that commitment to those long-term contracts for known aging stars, if they get one World Series, is it going to be worth it?
It's absolutely worth it.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely worth it.
Look, I say that as much as a Philly hater as anybody, but flags fly forever, right? Like, no matter what, like, the Dodgers are essentially just capitalism in a team, and people want them dead, right? But they've got back-to-back World Series. You think their fans give a shit about anything? Right? Like, they've got everything they want out of it. They don't care if the small market teams think they're the devil incarnate. They've got World Series after World Series to back it up. So if the Phillies are able to pull off a World Series over the Dodgers to get to the World Series right now over the Dodgers, right? Then what they're doing makes sense. And I agree with Andy on the sense that I think they do have to commit to it, because you've got these guys for the contracts. You've got to stick to your core and figure it out if you think that's going to be.
I've said this many times on the New York show and the baseball show is that you don't get to pick when you compete. Like, teams try to manipulate when they can be good and things like that. You don't know when you're going to have injuries or guys are going to tail off early or what. So, like, when you've got players that can play, you got to go for it right then. Like, there's no like delaying your progress or.
But I can
if
sell
you
you
got
a
a good
full
team, you got to
team
go
of
for it.
promised prospects that the Reds held on to because they didn't want to sell of what could have been future. Like it's just things like that. It's just I agree. Just go all in. Like I that's something I wish Cincinnati would do once in a while. Is just perfect. Couple years ago when Ellie De La Cruz and Matt McClain were rookies coming in, they missed a game. They missed playoffs by a couple of games. They were a game over 500. They actively decided not to be participants in the trade deadline that year. They said and they wanted to wait on Noelve Marte and then wanted to wait on other pieces. And how well that Noelve just got sent down this week. Is that why we didn't go get a starter that we needed to let him go so we could demote him 2 years later? Like, Ash was right. You don't get to pick when you compete. It picks you, and when it's your time, you've got to take advantage of it because, flipping around to the Bengals, like they went to the Super Bowl. I don't think they'll ever get back with Joe Burrow. I just really don't think so, and they can't.
God, I
they
hope
tried
they
to
do.
take.
I'm a big
I
I
hope
don't
so too.
understand the Joe Burrow hate, man. Like
I hope
Chris,
they do. I love Joe
not
Burrow.
alone in this. The Bengals fans hate Joe Burrow, and I don't understand it. Like,
I don't think it's Joe Burrow's fault why the Bengals in the situation that they're in. It's their lack of commitment to defense and not getting the right play, missing on some high-end draft picks on the defensive side. Because if you're going to commit that much money to your offense, you've got to hit your defensive picks.
And
you
then,
or
absolutely have to.
at least a stalwart offensive line, so you can avoid.
And they draft the defensive player in the first round, and then they don't pay him, so he doesn't play half the year.
So
yeah, it's
so like that's the things I deal with my sports fan. I'm like, well, I think it was either it was last summer or the summer before. ESPN had that fan misery index that came out, and I just put the Bengals and the Reds, and that was a 98% misery.
I don't know, like you could be a Braves fan. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Shut up. Stop doing that. You won a World Series in recent memory. Stop doing that. I hate all of you.
That was almost 5 years ago now.
The last time the Mets won a World Series was decades ago. Half of the CBL wasn't even born. I hate this so much. We're like I'll give Votomatic. We talk about Reds. Like, I get it. Look, and ignoring your stupid Braves comment there. But
I'll give it to you. I was thinking about it. Is it 86 the last time?
1986. Any Mets fan can tell you.
Yeah, that's even longer than the Reds. The Reds were 90. I was a year and a half old. I was so excited I pissed my pants when they won.
Dude, I tell people all the time, man. I have 20th anniversary of the Mets' last World Series win, 30th anniversary. This year, I'm going to pick up 40th anniversaries of the last Mets World Series win. This is not a joke, and I'm still in this. But
this is very therapeutic for me because this is the same shit we go through in Cincinnati, where Ash can vouch for this. Is we still talk about the Big Red Machine like they're coming through the bullpen gates and they're going to come through, or the Nasty Boys are coming out. They still talk about those guys because there's 25 years of nothing to talk about.
I got okay. We get trivia then to jump in here. Ren, who were the Nasty Boys?
I don't know who the hell the Nasty Boys were.
Exactly. That's how long ago it was.
Yeah. It's the greatest bullpen in baseball history.
If I look it up, I'm going to be able to.
Randy Myers, Rob Dibble, and
Randy Myers. I would maybe been able to give you Randy Myers. I wouldn't have been able to give you Norman.
I could have given you Rob Dibble, I think, but I
wasn't Randy Myers a Met.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I could have given you Randy Myers because he was a Met. That's why I'm like, I'm being honest with you here. I saw Randy Myers and I was like, I could have given you Randy Myers. I remember that because Randy Myers was a Met.
Rob Dibble was on Baseball Tonight forever. I know you didn't grow up in America, but he was on Baseball Tonight forever on ESPN.
Rob Dibble.
Rob Dibble.
Yeah. And he still does that stuff. And Norm Charlton has a great name. Nicknamed the Sheriff. What a guy. Montreal Expos draft pick. What a
those three. It was literally 6-inning games with the Reds.
The reason Randy Myers is a World Series champion with the Mets. He was on that 1986 team for what it's worth. So I'm just saying, this is legitimately
wild.
Randy Myers is on the 1986.
He was a starter then, wasn't
he? He was last time our team won World Series.
Randy Myers was actually from the Mets. He began in 1985, and he was not part of that. Like, he didn't pitch in the 1986 World Series, but they gave him a ring because he was part of the team. But yeah, and then Now this will be a fun one for you if you cross it over. Randy Myers got traded to the Reds for somebody that the Mets love. Randy Myers got traded to the Reds in 1990.
John Franco.
For John Franco. And John
He should be in
Franco,
the Hall of Fame, in my opinion.
and John Franco, beloved closer for the
He
Mets
should
too.
be.
So everybody's good off that deal because y'all liked Randy Myers and we got John. We were good. That was when things were nice to us.
Now,
But
Franco was with the Mets a lot longer than Randy Myers was with the Reds. Randy Myers got his ring with the Reds and was there. I think he got out by 92. I know Franco. I remember watching Franco. I remember watching Franco pitch for the Reds or for the Mets, and my dad would tell me like, "Oh yeah, he used to be a closer for the Reds in the '80s."
Yeah, and Franco, part of the reason it hits is he's from Brooklyn, and like he went to
lefty junk ball pitcher.
He went to St. John's, so like for us, like he's always like, oh my god, you see the St. John stuff? Like they were honoring him at the St. John Franco's over there, like so.
Was it Franco and Frank Viola?
Yeah, Frank
both
Viola
on the same
also.
team?
Yep. There you go. So now you're getting a good Frank Viola also from that St. John's University and also played for the Mets.
Did they make the College World Series?
That I don't know. I'll have to check for you because
I mean, that's a hell of a 1-2.
And I think
series?
I think at the time there was an old trivia about the fact that Viola was pitching and he faced Ron Darling, who of course then was also on the Mets and part of the Mets 1986 World Series team. Because he's also from he was playing for Yale at the time was Ron Darling, which was one of the like funniest things.
You know, it's one of the funniest things I think about the 1990 Reds team or Reds World Series is it came within like 15 months of Pete Rose getting kicked out of baseball. Like he was the manager of that team who's coming up. He was Barry Larkin's first manager. He was Eric Davison, and Lou Piniella came in that year and won a World Series immediately. And he's just now getting put into the Reds Hall of Fame this year, I believe, because of it. But he was only the Reds manager for like 3 years. One is World Series his first season, and then it was like, how about that for a debut? That's going to be tough to follow that up.
I'm reading about that now. 1990 Red season, the Nasty Boys. Look at that. Derived from the lyrics of Janet Jackson's "Nasty."
Eric Davis.
The 90s were a different era. Early 90s was a different era.
I like the 90s. I'm okay with the 90s. But
Eric Davis. Yeah, that Eric Davis got hurt in Game 4. It was a sweep out in Oakland. Got hurt in Game 4, lacerated his kidney, had to stay out in Oakland for an additional week. And Marge Schott, being the great owner she was, made Eric Davis fly back on his own accord, and he missed out on the parade. And the very first time he was able ever to celebrate that World Series with his teammates was at the 25th anniversary they had at GABP.
I did not know that. Interesting story, actually.
Eric Davis is probably the best player of the Hall of Good. Like if he didn't get hurt, more people will know who Eric Davis was.
One of these days, I think I would love to, and I've talked to Ash about doing some baseball stuff like on the side. I would love to do just a Hall of Very Good podcast, like just talk about guys that we think are in the Hall of Very Good that never made it, but they never got the appreciation because they didn't make it into because I'm a big Hall guy. So there's a lot of Hall of Very Good guys to me that I think they kind of fall under the radar.
Hall guys are what you should be. Everyone should aspire to be a big Hall guy.
We happen to agree, which is good. But I want to do like one of those, like we do like just a straight like Hall of Very Good podcast where we just kind of talk about some guys, and I think it'd just be fun. I mean, that's the height of it for me is just bullshitting about baseball and making like sure the guys who are underappreciated get their day in the sun. There is a Hall of Pretty Good on Instagram, and they do a really good job. I've seen them cross-post to Twitter and things like that. I enjoy like the conversation.
Yeah, I don't know what was going on yesterday with the Hall of Pretty Good Twitter account, but I guess it was like early 2010s Reds days because they put like literally 20 posts in a row that were similar to like, I miss watching Aaron Harang pitch. I'm just the guy who misses
Aaron
Harang. The orangutan.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, because I've been playing fantasy baseball now, I'd say, for about 20 years. And one of my early memories of fantasy baseball and winning a league was Brandon Phillips. Brandon Phillips, the second baseman, was my guy, man. I have so much. I remember like getting him at second base and him holding me down. And Brandon Phillips was cool as hell. So I was like, this is my guy, man. I got nothing but good things to say about
Brandon. You know who this girl is, don't you?
No, who's he?
Shit, I'm blanking her name.
Jake Cargill.
Jake Cargill.
Is he
They're
married
together.
to Jade Cargill?
Uh-huh.
Well, they're not
Yeah.
married, but they've been together for like 10 years. So.
Oh, that's so cool. That's even cool. This is what I mean. Brandon Phillips is the guy. Like,
You know, and his last season was really good for Atlanta. I think he
Mhm.
retired too soon.
He could have probably played another year or so.
he could have. I really think he could have, man.
So, Ash, let me ask you this as a Braves fan, and speaking of Big Hall, like Angelton Simmons.
Elite defensive player.
I mean, one of the best of all time.
Like, I mean, he might be the best shortstop I ever saw.
Defensively, he might be the best shortstop of all time.
In the field.
Defensively.
Yeah,
well,
just
Brian Hayes might
and
be the best third
does the
baseman of
best
all
defensive
time,
shortstop deserve to be in the Hall of Fame?
No.
Well, he didn't do it long enough is the problem.
He was it did he get to 10 years?
I'm not sure, but I mean his peak defensively was maybe
like
5 years.
Like 6 or 7 years, right?
Yeah. And he had a cannon for an arm.
He did, yeah.
I'm a big guy of once I hear a name and what your gut say instantly, go with it. And as soon as I hear that name, I'm just hard no.
It's just so good defensively, like so good.
Yeah, from like 2012 through like 2017, something like that, he was the best defensive shortstop in baseball, bar none.
So are we going to put Key Brian Hayes in the All-Star game this year?
It's a difference between
you got a little bit.
Third base is an offensive first position.
I feel like there's also, I mean, and he also didn't do this for very long too, but speaking on the Mets side, right? Like we had Ray Ordonez, and Ray Ordonez is basically that type of like, he stayed starting. He couldn't hit for shit, but he stayed starting because he was a wizard with the glove, right? And so he's one of those guys that I'll love forever. Simmons is, I think, probably in this era of ball that I've seen in the last 20 years, probably the best defensive shortstop that I've seen. If he did it for a little longer, if he could keep the like in the game longer, I would definitely fight for it because defense is completely underrated when it comes to it because his D-WAR, I think, is like outstanding. I think it was like insane numbers.
I'll say this, and I'm probably testing everybody's age here, but if they're going until they put Davey Concepcion into the Hall of Fame,
you're not old enough to have seen Concepcion play. Come on.
No.
None of us watched Dave Concepcion play. Not one of us.
He inspired Omar Vizquel. He inspired a whole country. Like I'm going off of stories of what my dad said, but like I didn't see Ozzie Smith play either. But I know he's a great defensive. I know he's a
same. I mean, I talk about that too. I've never saw Ozzie Smith play, but I
don't think you've got to see him to know that.
I think he finished with San Francisco. Didn't he finish with San Francisco?
Davey?
No, Ozzie.
I thought he started with.
He started with San Diego.
San Diego, yeah.
No, he didn't go anywhere after St. Louis. I thought he played one season with San Francisco, but I guess not.
Gosh, he played a long time.
Man, he had 282 his last year. He was a terrible offensive player in his last year. He decides to bust out 282.
I'm looking at like career D-WAR at shortstop, by the way, and so defensive WAR, and it's hilarious to me because Mark Bellinger is second all time in D-WAR for shortstop after Ozzie.
Mark Bellinger? I don't even.
Ozzie Smith might be the worst offensive player.
And then Brooks Robinson is third, Cal Ripken's fourth, and some other Luis Aparicio. And once we get down to seventh, we're talking about
Aparicio.
This is interesting D-WAR stuff to me. Aparicio,
Baltimore Oriole.
Yeah, 56 to 1973. He's
I actually have an autographed ball of him.
Of Luis. Oh. That might be the deepest cut we've gotten out of the podcast so far. I think is
this whole box is Hall of Famers, so yeah, right here.
How far down the list do you have to go to see Jeter's name? Jeter's name isn't on the list. Negative D-WAR doesn't get you on the list.
Very, very far down.
Yeah, awful.
This last
thing that where he intercepted
was a Cincinnati Red,
that was totally unnecessary.
Some of these names are interesting to me because this is actually just a regular list, and Aparicio's sixth. This is all position players actually, so he's sixth overall, which is wild. And then Rabbit Marinville is seventh. So now we're getting to the points where we're just making up fucking names. For the sake of Peter asking, I am going to just control F Jeter and let's see what happens if he's on
like
here.
it's like negative 100.
All right, so just to confirm for the sake of it, I have gone down to the 1,000th D-War leaders in the history of the game, and Derek Jeter's not on here.
You know who else you will not see on that list?
Me.
Anthony Volpe.
Yeah.
Anthony, I'm now actually searching if that was an error of Derek Jeter's literally not on this list because that's hilarious and Luke will never let me live it down. If I can just Andrew Jones is
Volpe will be able to hit for Somerset.
I laugh because the Somerset Patriots posted something about Anthony Volpe like being home, like, oh, he came home, and the majority of Yankee fans were like, good, keep him there. Like I almost feel bad for Anthony Volpe now because they're just like he's home and they're like where he belongs in the minors, keep him off my squad. I'm like, oh man, like I could say that, but like you're supposed to support him, man. You guys gotta have your boy Derek Jeter actually isn't on the list. He's not on this list. Orlando Arcia is on here. He's 884th.
That actually surprises me.
I'm seeing active names here. Like Otto Lopez is on here, which is hilarious because he's only played 5 years.
And
Wander Franco is on here at 976. So this is an interesting one.
I don't think that one will be moving.
I don't think it'll be moving either, but he's apparently
I think that one's set in stone.
Yeah, and it's still more than Jeter had for his career, so take that, Derek Jeter. But God help me, but this isn't even the CBL show anymore. We're just doing general baseball now. I like it.
Oh yeah, we went off the rails like an hour ago.
I like this though. This is the bullshit. This is what I signed up for, and I won't be here for a week, so I got to come back and I got to get
Who's doing the show tomorrow night?
Hopefully it's Peter and Luke.
I guess I'll be on tomorrow night. I'll make a comeback to the New York.
Get a New York hat or something. Yeah, go back me up a little bit because I might jump on, but I'll probably be blitzed and I'll just sit there and like I hope the Mets win. Are the Mets winning right now or is it still tied? Let me see.
Shit, I don't know.
They're tied 1-1.
They finally scored a run. They scored a run. Leadoff home run for Francisco Lindor, and then they're back.
They actually scored a run?
They scored a run off Yamamoto. It was a leadoff home run for Nolan McLean. Nolan McLean's in a pitcher's duel with Yamamoto, which is normally would be pretty cool.
Won a game.
Yeah. They beat the Marlins, I think.
Yeah. 6-5.
Hope they can use Mania.
Dominic Smith has actually played pretty good, speaking of the Mets.
Former Met, who had sleep apnea like me, got it fixed, and then started hitting again, which is hilarious because that was my inspiration.
He's 353 right now.
He was a former first-round pick, I think, for the Mets.
No, 395, sorry, because originally the first statement that I made, they didn't include today's game yet. So
very obscure red. He had literally played for him for 10 games in 24?
Yes,
9.
in 24, after he was with the Red Sox. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
He was a first-round pick in 2013.
He's going to end that's for the Immaculate Grid. It's for the Immaculate Grid.
I love Immaculate Grid stuff like that because when I get random Mets like that, I have so much fun where I'm like Jose Bautista, former Met. Know him as a Blue Jay, but I'm like, that's a form. These guys were on here. Gary Sheffield hit his 500th home run with the New York Mets because the Yankees wouldn't let him hang out with them for some reason.
Peter says McLean is dealing with what? What is he dealing with?
I assume he's just dealing, but apparently he's dealing with something. So
yeah.
He played as many games for the Reds as Gary Sanchez did for the Mets. Gary Sanchez, former Met and apparently former Yankee, we've been told.
How about Gary Sanchez this year, too? He's hitting really good.
Listen, the Brewers are
getting another home run tonight.
The Brewers are finding these guys who had former top prospect potential and figuring it out. Last year with Andrew Vaughn, it was hilarious. Yeah, they found Andrew Vaughn and they're like, we don't need Rhys Hoskins.
As a lifelong NL Central watcher, I feel like Milwaukee has taken whatever devil magic St. Louis had in the 2010s.
Oh yeah,
and they have now.
St. Louis's devil magic is gone. They let go.
Jordan Walker would be evidence against that.
Well, Jordan Walker is figuring. I mean, if Jordan Walker figures it out now, and like Weatherholt looks good, they're going to be fine again. But they
They're gonna
suffered
be
for it.
fine, yeah.
Well,
They don't
I
have
will
pitching,
say this: like everybody's going nuts about Jordan Walker, but a year ago it was Kyron Paris. Like we're still in small sample size, guys. Like, come on.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But to be fair, his small sample size looks really, really good. Right
so
now.
did Kyron Paris this time last year.
I actually don't remember it being
So
that.
Paris didn't have the pedigree of Walker. Like Walker was
Oh,
supposed to be this.
I always treat
Jared
Memorial
Cohen
Day as
is
the first
forward.
checkpoint of
And
the season.
Walker's only like 24, right? Like he's not. He's.
I'm just being a hater.
I agree with you, Bud. By the way, you said that Memorial Day is a point for you. I agree. Like if we're at the end of May and Jordan Walker is still hitting like this, I might start to openly turn around and be like, because I mean we got to get through April first for me to even really jump on the wagon. But right now he leads the MLB in home runs, which is annoying. That's actually ridiculous that Jordan Walker is doing it, right? I was talking about it earlier. Jose Soriano has an ERA under 1. He is dealing, right? So there's some fun to be had among certain things. So we'll see if it keeps up.
I've got him. I just know that's not going to last. I
don't think what Soriano's doing is going to last, but I think Soriano is actually really good.
I agree with
Yeah,
you, by the way.
absolutely,
Soriano is a very
yes.
underrated pitcher. It's just that he was on the Angels. He didn't get the love, but he was pitching well. I have
His
him on a few
expected
squads.
stats last year pointed to a lot of positive
Yes.
regression.
Agreed.
I will
Agreed.
say this though: a sinker ball pitcher with a bad defense behind him is a terrible combination. It's going good right now.
We'll get him some better defense then. It's okay. We'll figure it out. I mean,
Joe
all you
Adell.
need. I mean, you got
Adell
Joe
was
Adell,
the-
who had probably the greatest defensive game of all time.
Joe Adell
And-
had more defensive WAR in one inning than Jeter had in his entire career.
That's my guy. This is
That's
why.
true.
This is why people understand. They're like, Andy's a Phillies fan. You guys get along. I'm like, you see that level of ball knowledge? That exact
No.
statement of Joe Adell in one game outclasses Derek Jeter with the glove for his entire career, and it's mathematically true. It is mathematically true. I mean, that was
One of those catches would have outdone Jeter's career.
Dude, that last catch too, like the image, I think we posted it on the Discord, but like that photo from the crowd of him just standing up with the ball, like from the back, I was like, dude, that's legit. If I was an Angels fan, that's going up on my wall. Like that's legitimately one of the
absolutely.
Oh, is Tony still watching? I wonder.
I hope so. I almost want to message Tony and be like, dude, I really hope to God you saw that game live. I saw him post on the CBL to say that he wanted to trade for Mike Trout again. I'm like, I love you, man. I love that most never
Don't
change.
change. Don't change.
Mike Trout
Tony.
demolishes the Yankees, and he turns around and he's like, "I want Mike Trout. I'll trade you Jack Wheeler or something. Just give me Mike Trout." But I hope you saw that game because that was an immaculate defensive game. I think arguably the best defensive game of all time. You robbed 3 home runs in a 1-0 victory.
Yep.
Right? Like I feel like it's not even debatable, which is crazy.
Didn't Ohtani like a couple years ago have a game where he hit like 3 home runs and pitched a 1-hitter or
Well, in
something?
the playoffs last year, he had 3 home runs and then threw like 7 shutout innings with 12 Ks and against Milwaukee. So, yeah.
Yep, I remember that. I like
But Joe Adell is that's an average day for Ohtani. Ohtani could do that if they put him in the field.
But Joe Adell could hit 3 home runs. I think he has had a 3 home run game. So
he's turned into a good player. I'm glad that Joe Adell has been turned into.
He's developing.
I mean, he's so young still.
I want him to have a career. I think I just kind of like the idea of somebody that's
He
dynamic.
just turned 27 this year, so
I love when I love Jordan Walker. Like I love when guys that come up and they don't immediately produce and everybody writes them off.
Yes, I agree with you.
And then when they mature and they get to like 25, 26 and they actually become good, it's really good. It's really good.
I gotta say though, like I'm looking at in we're early season, but Joe Adell's walk rate right now is 1.4%.
Well, that's 1.4% number, more than it used to be. All right, that's better than it used to be. He's moving on. No, I know. He's not he's gonna be one of those guys that I mean, there's been so many guys like that at Jackie Bradley Jr. season where like you were happy to get anything from him with the bat because he was so damn good with the glove.
Yeah.
You know, so he gives me that type of aura, but Jackie Bradley Jr. led the Red Sox to a lot of wins. Joe Adell could lead your team to
I could see Joe Adell one day being a trade deadline acquisition and then going off in the second half. You know, like it just gives me that kind of vibe of like one day he's going to make one team really happy they traded for him in July and just go on.
How old is he?
27.
27.
Oh, okay, he's a little older than I was thinking.
Yeah, no, he's been around for a little bit.
I was gonna make a comp, but he's a little too old now. I was gonna say, could he have a late career Carlos Beltran type career?
Whoa.
No.
No,
He's too old
he
now.
has too much
If he was 24, maybe not 27, might be a little too old.
Also, I mean, former Met there and Carlos Beltran, but he was real damn good.
Yeah, Adele doesn't run as
the reason
well
I bring
either.
that up, Andy.
No, Adele does not
about
run like Beltran.
Yeah, but
What's
you're
up?
talking about the reason I brought Beltran up was because Andy brought up he could be a mid-season acquisition, a trade acquisition that really carries a team. It makes me think of Beltran when he got traded to
Which time?
Houston, and he carried them, and then also he did that for the Mets later in his career.
Yeah, in Oakland early in his career.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, he with the Mets, man, was I hate about all the shit that happened with the Astros because I want to say nice things about Carlos Beltran and I can't because he was kind of involved in some shit that I don't respect, right? But at least to speak to the player and like what Beltran was around for the Mets, holy shit, man, that guy set a standard for me in center field. Like watching, like learning the Mets and kind of like having fun with this dude. He was hitting like 40 home runs for us and playing elite defense in center field. I had a lot of fun watching him. I really enjoyed him as a player.
Yeah, you would think being a 40 homer bat and elite defender in center field that you'd be a first ballot Hall of Famer. But
yeah, I mean, this is a guy. He's in the Hall of Fame, so I'm glad for that much.
Well, I'm complaining about Andrew having to wait.
Yeah, I don't understand that one either, and I can't stand Andrew Jones, but like defensively alone too. Well, he's a Brave. I can't I'm not gonna. I say nice things about Chipper because I feel like Chipper has this weird love-hate thing with the Mets. Like
he does totally.
Yeah, does. Like it's one of those things where like
he loves the Mets.
Right, like it's one of those. I kind of like. I'm like, you know what? I can shake your hand, Chipper. Chipper Jones was like. I remember. I think it was late in his career. At one point, he was batting like 360, and I like wanted to hate him. I was like, I really want to be like, oh, screw the Braves and screw Chipper Jones. But a part of me was like, it's like Freddie Freeman, man. I'm like, I can't hate you. You're a good guy, and you're a good baseball player, and you're good for, He named his son Shea. I know, and it's funny because like there's also Shea Langoliers, who's now Shea Bangoliers, is named after Shea Stadium too. But it's I like Chipper Jones. Andrew Jones, I mean, he was good. He was bombastic and he was annoying, but damn, he was good with the glove, man. He set a standard in center field too. Like that was a pain in the ass.
Rostering his son,
what?
I don't know. And he hit 500 home runs. I don't understand. Well, I understand why, but for him to wait so long to be in the Hall of Fame, I hate Hall of Fame voters. I'm pretty passionate about the Hall of Fame as well. Like, I love the Hall of Fame. I just went there in December. Like, I love it. And the way that these sports writers treat it, I hate.
I agree with you. I think it's wild that they're like, well, this guy didn't hit 500 home runs. He hit 490. And he's only had 2 MVPs, so we don't think he should make the Hall of Fame. And I'm like, who the fuck are you? What are you talking about? Like, these guys are like game changers for the league. Like, it bothers me so much.
I don't know how you guys, like, what is your opinion on, like, the PED users?
Put them in.
The Bonds, the A-Rods, and
I think you have to put them in.
Until they put Pete Rose in, none of them should go in.
I think they should all. Matt Harvey's at the Mets game. That's cute. I honestly
Does he have a blister?
Baseball knew what was going on during the steroid era.
The league didn't care.
Right. So, like, in my head, I don't know where this moral high ground comes from, where, like, there were a lot more guys that were cheating that didn't get caught, too. And so, like, for me, it's a frustrating thing where I'm like, look, and Bonds, as much as I may hate to admit it or not, was probably elite enough without the steroids. And you could put steroids in a lot of us tomorrow, and he
was probably a Hall of Fame player in Pittsburgh.
Right. That's what I mean. So, like, it's kind of a wild thing to me that they're like, these guys shouldn't go in the sanctity of the game. And I'm like, so what? Like, the guys in the 80s who you voted into the Hall of Fame, they were using cocaine. I mean, we're not using cocaine right now. I hope they're not using cocaine right now. Don't, Darryl Strawberry, stay away from the Mets. But it's just one of those things where people were always doing something to get a competitive advantage. And I feel like, yes, the PDs are a little more literal and exactly to say, like, you can point it out. But baseball knew and they let it happen for their own revenue. So if they use that to grow, then you've got to honor those guys for what they did for the game.
Sosa McGuire literally, the race of 98 saved baseball. And the league, I'm pretty sure, knew that the PEDs
The
are
league is
involved
not
in.
who's keeping these guys out.
Let me
Yeah,
let me
the league
let me
is not,
ask you
no.
this. Let me ask you this interesting what if then. So based on that, everybody kind of knew they were cheating. What they were doing helped the game and everything of that. With the same context and the same kind of thought process, should any of the Astros face ridicule for any potential? Should Jose Altuve not be in the Hall of Fame because the Astros cheated with the garbage can?
I think he should go in.
I agree.
I have to take the side that he should go in to stay consistent with my beliefs, because
Okay.
I think that I think that because it's also, he's generally considered to be a Hall of Famer regardless, right? And he continued to produce after all that stuff was removed, which leads me to believe that, again, he gained a competitive advantage, and you can put an asterisk by it, sure, but he's a Hall of Fame player.
That kind of cheating, the Astros were maybe the most egregious form of that kind of cheating, but that kind of cheating was not the Astros alone.
The Yankees and the Red Sox were also doing it, and they got reprimanded for it too. That's correct.
Like the Astros got caught, and maybe, like I said, the Astros were doing it more aggressively than other teams. But to act like there's not other cheating teams in the league would be naive to think.
And I look at the steroid users the exact same way. That's what I was alluding to. The idea of, like, yes, we know the prominent guys that got caught, right? But there were other guys that got caught. I mean, look, for Christ's sake, you mentioned Noelvi Marte a couple minutes ago, right? Like, over there on the red side. Noelvi Marte was caught using PEDs, right? He did not turn into Bonds overnight.
Yeah. It's like unless we're using different steroids than we used back in the 90s, Max
and
Kepler,
they're using better ones now,
I think they
arguably.
should be allowed to just use them now. And
Kepler,
I'm not even joking on that.
Profar and Marte, it didn't make them better.
Actually, it made Profar better.
But
I don't know. I hear you guys. I'll just do this small flip of an argument to play devil's advocate there. We don't know how long Noelvi Marte has been on steroids. He got popped in 24. So steroids could have allowed him to be a top 100 prospect, to be a top 50 prospect in the game, because he sure as hell has not been that on the backside of getting caught. So
I don't think the prospect comparison
you can't sit there
is
and
fair.
be like, steroids hasn't really enhanced Noelvi Marte. You can't say that, because I'll make the flip argument of, is Noelvi Marte even a legitimate prospect without steroids? We don't know that answer.
There's a ton of prospects that weren't legitimate prospects with or without steroids either. That's more of a flaw in the prospecting system than it is on the PEDs. Because there are tons of guys that they try to convince you are the greatest thing that are coming to sliced bread, and they hit the majors and they can't hit a lick or they can't pitch a lick, right? So, like, I think that's more of an error in the prospecting system, because we could give you tons of PED suspensions of guys that never actually, and even I make the joke the Profar got better, right? But it made him slightly above average. It didn't make him a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Right. So that's the thing. Like, there's a level to this stuff that some of these guys inherently have. Like, again, Barry Bonds being the greatest example. He's one of the greatest baseball players in history without steroids. With steroids, yes, the home run record gets into, sure, we have a different discussion, but he's probably a Hall of Famer anyway. A lot of these guys, I think, it's just weird for me to have baseball try to have a moral high ground. You don't have a moral high ground. You got saved by these steroids. Right?
That's the last sport historically that shouldn't have a moral high ground.
That's what I mean.
What other organized sports profession has a history of letting out a certain segment of people?
That's what I mean. Like, dude, it's just like we're sitting here like, no, we've got everything right. Like, this is like, dude, you got records from before black people could play ball. Like, I was joking about the fact that the Yankees half of their championships, like, congratulations, you did it before half the country could play. Congrats. Like, it's we know it. It's part of our history. We celebrate Jackie Robinson Day, and we do it without, like, getting mad at each other. We do it as, like, an acknowledgement of the history of the game. So we can acknowledge the fact that steroids are a part of this game storied history and give them their place in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, and I think you hit it right there. It's part of the game's history. It's part of the story. You can't, if you grow up in the 90s watching baseball, you can't retell that story without the acknowledgement of these people were on steroids.
And it's arguably the best part of baseball history.
Yeah, I mean, the home run races, as you said, like, Andy, was saving baseball. It literally did, viewers-wise. Statistically, it did. Like, this home run race was what kept them on the map. They had everything in the 90s. Chicks Dig the Long Ball was the ad with Greg Maddux.
Watching guys hit 325 with 35 home runs, 40 home runs, that was much more fun, in my opinion.
People liked it. And then, and to his credit, I always talk about this. Pedro Martinez is arguably the best goddamn pitcher I've ever seen, because Pedro was up there like 0001. fucking taking down these steroid guys with a sub-2 ERA. Like Pedro
Randy
Martinez.
Johnson,
Greg
too.
Maddux in the 90s.
Yeah.
Greg Maddux is outstanding.
That 4-year stretch where, I mean, he was unhittable.
I hate that he was a Brave, Ash, because I've heard so many stories about how smart of a pitcher Greg Maddux was. The idea of like he set pitchers up like he set batters up months in advance type of thing. I love Greg Maddux. I think it's outstanding. And so like I sit there and I appreciate those guys even more because I'm like, you were facing the steroid era guys and just stunting on them.
Like this stretch from 92, he started a string where he went with a 2.18 ERA, 2.36, 1.56, 1.63, 2.72, 2.20, 2.22.
And this man was doing it on the ultimate efficiency. He's pitching shutouts under 100 pitches. Like it's actually Greg Maddux is
6 ERA.
Yeah, absolutely insane. So I look back at those guys and I'm like, how did you do that in the era of? So I'm a pitcher fanatic, so I love that stuff. But yeah, it's hard for me to sit there and like I don't feel like I have the grounds to be like, oh, you use steroids, like you can't be in the Hall of Fame. I'm like, the 500 home runs didn't hit themselves, man. It's just I think they have their spot and they should be there. And if I'm being honest, I think they should have like if you want to really tell the story of baseball, you have to talk about the steroids and what happened and what brought interest back in ball. And we know even now they toy around with juice baseballs. We've seen that there's stats on it that like Aaron Judge was getting juice baseballs. Yeah. Why? Unsurprisingly, people love the home run chase. Where did that come from?
The first team to hack the ABS system.
And what do you want them to do? Like,
I guarantee there's somebody that's going to try it.
But like just say that it's like digitally like alter the pitch or something.
Yeah, they're gonna hack into that and to where it favors their team on challenges.
That's gonna be so funny if it does. I will laugh.
But somebody's gonna try it.
I know, but I just don't know how it's gonna work.
If they go to full ABS and not just the challenge, that would be even bigger of a cheat.
I can't see them ever going to full ABS.
I don't think so. The umpires wouldn't allow it. They'd lose their mind. They're losing their minds right now.
I don't think the players would agree.
The full challenge would actually be better for the umpires than not the challenge, the full system.
It would just be them relaying the play type of thing.
Yeah.
I feel like we're not ready for that. I feel like people are a bit afraid of the idea of like
nobody wants that in a 12-run game.
Yeah, I think that's a line that even the newest of baseball fans that love the rule changes, I don't even know if they would get on board with that. That would be a hill I think that a lot of baseball fans would die on.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I think we need to wrap this up. It's already we're getting close to midnight.
We're pushing 3 hours, baby. Well, it's actually close to 1 o'clock in Andy's time zone.
It is.
Yeah.
Halifax, Nova Scotia.
Nova Scotia. Yeah.
I was gonna say it's still early for me over here in Nashville. We haven't even hit 11 yet.
Man, I wish. All right.
Have I known you a couple months ago on the CBL or on steroids?
Whatever you want to give it to.
How do I get some of the guys on my team to start taking steroids? What route do I have to go to like how do I get the Mets to take steroids? Because at this point, you can't be
Brady Anderson, the first base coach for the Angels.
Is he?
I think so.
Like that Brady Anderson?
Yeah. The 50 homer out of nowhere.
Yeah. He's the hitting coach for the Los Angeles Angels Major League Baseball. Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe it won't work because
explain Joe Adele's power breakout.
Hey, it doesn't always work, man. Because Barry Bonds coach of the Marlins, and they
Marlins hitting coach, but it didn't do anything.
They suck complete ass. So like,
they actually improve year over year with him.
I thought he was actually good. I thought he was a good hitting coach.
Yeah, I think that their hitters actually improved year over year. They were just all bad, so they were.
I thought he was a casualty of the shit.
But he actually improved.
But then, why did he get another job?
He didn't.
But that's what I'm saying. Why didn't he get another job then? If he was actually,
well, he probably just said, "I'm done with this." Like,
you coach for the Marlins for 5 minutes. You're like, I actually just don't ever want.
I mean, if you got jerked around by the Marlins,
if you were with the Marlins,
I don't think Barry Bonds just likes being around Major League Baseball very much either.
I do agree with that. I've noticed.
I was going to say, on top of that, whenever they do allow these PED users to get into the Hall of Fame, the writers are going to purposely make Barry Bonds wait an additional year for being a huge asshole.
I think Bonds will get in with one of these other committees in the next 10 years or so.
I do think they're because I mean he's the all-time apparently Stanton didn't like him. Good old Mike Stanton, but I don't know, man. I do think you're 100%
I heard Jeff
right.
Kent like Barry Bonds.
Gary Sheffield loved him.
God help me. All right,
I actually totally believe Gary Sheffield when he says that he didn't know what that clear and cream was that Bonds' trainer was giving him. I totally believe him. Because he gets physically angry when he talks about that.
Didn't the ringleader of that die in the last couple of years? Of all that Balco scandal?
I think, right?
I think he did.
Gary
I remember watching.
Sheffield
He was on. There's a Netflix documentary that's about that he actually talked about. His name's escaping me right now, but he was the ringleader of all that Balco stuff.
I'm looking. I'm trying to see. If
No, it wasn't a baseball guy.
Oh, is it the guy with the list? I don't know.
I'm looking to see if I have the. Victor Conti died.
Yeah, Victor Conti.
Yeah, Victor Conti. He was the one who founded Balco. Yeah, Bay Area Laboratory Corp. He died in November of 2025. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that recently, and then that. Gosh, whatever that Netflix sports series that had the Johnny Manziels on it, they've got one about the Balco series, and he talks to them. Untold, yeah.
Yeah,
that's
a good series.
I did not
see
pretty
that.
Good I'd watch that.
Yeah, highly recommend that one. I can't even think of the name of it. That's how good it is.
Peter says go to bed. All right, we'll wrap this up. I'll give you a CBL take then to wrap up of things that shouldn't be happening in the CBL. Up to this point in the year for my team, Jeffrey Springs has outproduced Framber Valdez by a lot. That's just legitimate. Like, there's not even a joke. It's just the fact that Jeffrey Springs has kept pace with Framber Valdez and has overproduced him by far, even though he's pitching for the Athletics. And then today, pitched in his home ballpark against the Athletics and has outproduced Framber Valdez again. So that's fun. I don't know why Jeffrey Springs is better than Framber Valdez now, but I'll take it. At least he's on my squad.
When you have chemistry with your catcher, man.
Yeah, I gotta talk to my guys, man. I figure it out. But I'm actually surprised at some of that. Like, I like Jeffrey Springs a lot. I remember him with the Rays, and I thought that he was going to be like a really, really top end pitcher because I thought the Rays would unlock something. Yep. And I saw that he got hurt, and I gave him the time after. I was kind of hoping, like, hey, maybe a dart throw, he'll figure something out. So I'm glad that he actually is looking good. I kind of root for guys like that. Sort of like what you're saying, Andy, like when it's fun when a guy gets written off as a prospect and people forget and he comes back. I like the same thing with like pitchers. Like I was super excited over Sandy Alcantara's like first two starts because I'm like, please go back to being Sandy, man. You were so damn good. Workhorse, like I root for you. Baseball's good when you're good. So I'm happy for that much. Yeah. Ash, what do you got? Let's wrap us up before midnight in our time zone.
Yeah, I just need my team to score some runs. That's my take. Or not some runs, but get some points. Fuck. 132 points on the week so far.
I believe in you. You'll get there. You're a top 25 ranked team.
Well, I believe in Joe Henry.
Everybody on this panel is a top 25 ranked team.
There we go.
It's kind of cool. It's never happened before. We had a 4-man booth with all top 25s. Do either of the two of you have anything to close us out with? Do you want to, because you're both on having fun? You have any takes you want to add?
I hope my pitching can hold just through the year. I hope my 4s and 5s don't bomb. But no, Ryan Jeffers has just been on fire. That's been my take lately. I don't know if you guys know. I think he has just been absolutely on fire. He's power hitting. I think the power's back. If he can mix that with some of the average that he found last year and be more of a balanced hitter, I mean, I think he could end up being one of the more valuable catchers in this league. Like I ended up making a trade for him here recently, so I'm more partial to that. But like I made the upgrade from Tyler Stevenson to him, and he's changed the outlook of my season so far because Stevenson, I think, is just I think he's close to waiver wire material. I just don't know if he's going to figure it out with as old as he is anymore. Watching him on a daily basis with the Reds, like he can be good twice a week. I feel like. So
I'm
that's
with
my
you.
take.
Actually, I like Jeffers a lot. Yes.
Ryan Jeffers, top 10 catcher this year.
There you go. Andy, what do you got for us?
Yeah. Number one team for the first time in the history of the CBL for me. I think this is obviously it's the highest I've been ranked, but I don't think I've ever been ranked. I don't think I've ever been in the top 5. So to go from 7 to 1, to my knowledge, I don't think I ever had been. I know
you might have been in the top 5 last year. I think
maybe.
you were.
I know I finished Final Four last year and almost made it to the championship. And I think my team this year is better than last year. So I am really looking forward to the year, having a lot of fun. If I could face a team that didn't also have Ketel Marte, I'd be having a lot of fun. This is the second or third week in a row that I faced a team that also has Ketel Marte, and I can't get excited when he hits a home run. So, and this is also the second ranked team I've had to face this year. I'm facing Minnesota this week, who is now number 19.
Yeah, but they were really hot start off the season too. This is no easy task to face Minnesota.
Not. And I played the number 2, so I played a top 25 team in week 1. I played the number 2 scorer last week, and I'm facing the number 19 team this week. So this is the new Big Ten. Okay, I feel like the Big Ten last year was a little bit of a joke with some of these owners. We lost half the owners. I feel like in our conference last year at some point in the league, we got some new guys in, guys that want to win, want to compete, and the Big Ten this year is no joke. Like it is going to be a bloodbath this year. So I'm excited. I'm happy. It's competitive, and it's going to be a really fun year.
Yeah, well, as half commissioner of the big, and then the other half over there is sitting there saying, Ben's got a hit off Yoshi. That's your team right there. I love these guys, but I'm glad the Big Ten is coming together under the leadership of you and Peter.
I know Masato was pitching still, but.
Yeah, Yamamoto and McLean were both still pitching. They're in the 8th, and they're actually having an old school pitcher's deal. No, legitimately.
Yeah, I'm going against McLaren, and it's messing up my world right now.
Yeah, so you're still got a little edge right now.
Yeah, I'm down right now.
No, I swear it might not have updated, but I thought you were up, and I'm down
I'm down 160, 147 right now.
That is not what I saw when I looked at yours. 160, 147 on the day or for the week?
For the period. On the day, I'm getting beat 176, 121. It's even worse.
I swear to God, I just looked at your goddamn team. But I was going to say, if you pull out this win this week.
McLean had a 60 burger. Is currently riding the 60 burger right now.
Well, you pull out this win and you're staying in that number 1 seat. I can tell you that much for sure. That much I can tell the voters will respond to. So for your sake, let's see if you can do it.
But yeah, no, that would be embarrassing. I get beat this week, and he has Garrett Crochet ride a negative 85 and still somehow able to get the win.
Whoever's asking this question, no. Absolutely not.
Oh, no.
No. Don't. That's bad. That's bad. Bad boy. I don't know who's asking that question, but it might be one of those Chanticleers or something. I see Chandler Constantino, and I'm like, it might be a Chanticleer or something, but no.
Are we allowed to give out advice on this, or do we keep secrets here to ourselves?
No, I actually openly talk about advice and stuff like that. But in a case of a question,
I feel like if you've got the number 1 waiver claim, you hold on to it until somebody panic drops a pitcher of value.
There you go. And in this league, there is no number 1. That wasn't a CBL question. That was a that can't be art because we don't have a number 1 claim. We have fab dollars, But no, there's no universe unless it's a scoring that's specifically for Luis Arias. You're not using a number 1 waiver.
Or if it's a WBC league.
If it's a WBC league, then maybe you do it. That's fair. He got me there. All right, we are about to touch midnight, so since we can close out before then, let's wrap this out, guys. It was real nice to have you join us tonight. Sincerely, I had a lot of fun just talking baseball with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I have to jump back on. I got work next week during this time frame, so I won't be able to hop on, but I definitely will come back on sometime in the near future.
When you guys have time, we're happy to have you. It's been fun.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Take it easy.
Thank you all.
All right, good.